Seth Wanzing, Jeremy Brault, Tommy Reynolds, all drivers that have punched their names at the top of the A-Squared ladder and can call themselves champions of the A-Squared Cup Series. Well, after tonight, only another driver will etch their name at the top of the ladder and will join the illustrious list of drivers that are champions in the A-Squared world. Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Young here for the finale tonight for the Finish the Job 200 for the ARCS Midwest Barbecue A-Squared Cup Series here at, Homestead-Miami. Right now we're following John Hagan as he is on the first lap of 2 attempts here to try to put his number 81 into pole position. Right now you'll see as he is driving around right now, first lap in the books, and it has not been the greatest one in the world right now. Looks like a slight invalidation happened somewhere on his first lap. So the second lap is going to be the money lap. It is going to be the lap that decides where he starts. Right now, Lilac's here, the highest of the championship 4, to put a time down. We'll see if Hagan can do one better. As he comes off a 3 and 4 right now, where can John Hagan slot his number 81? Cross the line he will go, and it's going to be good enough for pole position. So John Hagan will set the tone here and at the very least be the fastest of the 4 championship drivers. Not yet the fastest of the qualifying runs. We still have Alfred George here in his number 40 machine for Presidential Racing, and Ross Baxter as well for Line Power on track right now at the moment. Last 2 cars to put down times as we speak. Alfred George going to come across the line right now, and he's going to slide his machine up to 11th. And now we're going to focus on Ross Baxter. Can he steal pole position away, be the ultimate spoiler, or will it be John Hagan, a driver that has been dominating this year, one of the strongest drivers in the field, going to add one more pole position to his name? As we see Ross Baxter come off the last corner right now, and he comes across the line. It's going to be good enough for a top 10, but it is not going to be good enough for a pole position. So at the moment, provisionally, it will be John Hagan on pole position, as right now only Donald Ray is the last driver not to set a time. So we'll cut on some other cars here. We'll see Lilac's here doing some extra laps, and we'll ride around with her right now as she does those laps. She's doing a little extra warm-up laps, getting some extra practice here, just trying to get ready for the main race, the biggest race of maybe her sim racing career. It's going to be happening in just over 7 minutes' time. 2 for qualifying and 5 for warm-up. So while we have this little time here on track, we're going to go over some of the news here and see exactly how it is all playing up right now in this season. Just checking one quick thing in statistics to make sure I got it right. But after that, we will check the standings and all of that. So anyway, we'll take a look and see, as we have a lot of news to cover here in a short amount of time, as we see Lilac's here do some extra warm-up laps. First off, we have to cover the news of the standings in so far right now. So right now, if we take a look at make sure I got the right one here, the Rookie of the Year standings coming into the night. John Hagan has walked away with that championship. He is officially the Rookie of the Year no matter what happens at the end of tonight's festivities. Zier, Millett, Sharpley, top 4. Could see no real major changes there. Those top 4 have been the strongest drivers, and 3 of those 4 make up the championship 4 that we'll get to in just a moment here. Next up, after that, we got the team standings. After last week, Line Power clinched the championship as well. They are now back-to-back Constructors champions in A-Squared. So John Sears, you can definitely say he's had a lot of different roster turnovers. The only driver he kept, worth noting when you look at those lineups last year and this year, last year it was a team of Sears, Feather Place, Kruger, and I think Edward Marshall. And now this year it is a different team of Baxter, Michelle, Sears, and Brandon Featherplace, and they have still dominated the championship here. So hats off to Line Power for winning the team standings. Next up, we have the silver bracket playoff standings here as well. Bren Roberts, with his back-to-back wins at both Talladega and Michigan, has officially clinched the silver bracket. Even though we didn't know that going in the last week, it's now official. Bren Roberts is going to be your silver bracket champion, and even though he already won 2 races, thus clinching himself a spot in the All-Star race, he is now going to be competing in the All-Star race in 2 weeks' time. So hat tip to Bren Roberts as well. And we'll go over the final standings in a minute and set the tone in warm-up, as we only got about 15 seconds left here. Both Lilacs here and Zach Millett using this last bit of opportunity to test their cars to see how they feel. They'll fire off third and second respectively. But John Hagan has had won 8 races this year, the most of any driver, is looking to get the most crucial one, his 9th, and be champion of A Squared. Qualifying officially concluded here as we move on towards the warm-up. Now, heading on to warm-up here. Just checking the audio, make sure it's all good. Want to make sure I'm not over-peaking or having too much of a pull here. Drivers now pulling in and spawning onto the track. We will now talk about the playoff brackets here and see how all the drivers have shaken up. After last round, we talked about how Millett, with his little incident early on, took him out of contention. Proudfoot tried the gamble on 2 tires, couldn't make it work. Game Michelle tried Hail Mary throws, and they also did not succeed, leaving us with 4. And we'll go over each driver individually now. You can see it's Hagan, Zier, Featherplace, and Sharp. They will be fighting for a champion. Highest driver at the end of tonight's race will be the champion of A Squared. So we'll now take a look here. Just got to make sure I turn on that real fast and then turn off this. So now we'll take a look at each driver individually and go over their accomplishments that have gotten them here to Homestead-Miami. We'll start off with John Hagan. 8 wins on the year here. Very strong driver. Has proven that a second-round pick may have been a little bit too late for him as he's willed and powered B-Tron to success. He's obviously is the Rookie of the Year here, and definitely a driver that is well-deserving of that Rookie of the Year title. But look at that little stat there's a pull-up on the screen right now. Last win was the Chicago Street Course, which was before the playoffs. He has gone this whole playoffs and then some without finding victory lane. He's cashed on stage points, cashed on everything else, but he's not found victory lane in well over a month and a half. Can he break that curse? Speaking of right behind him, as he gets a little bit loose, so we'll see him hit the wall here. We'll pivot nicely to the next car right behind, Pelletier Sharp. She is the most recent winner in the A Squared Cup Series here. She was taken, I believe, with either the last pick of the second round or the first pick of the third round, as Gear Cats had back-to-back picks. She has definitely been a strong midfield driver. She punched her ticket at Phoenix with a 2-tire call, and then when the chips were down at Bristol, as you see right there, she came out and won that race to give herself a lock into the Final 8. She had great drives at Talladega, Michigan, and that is why she is fighting for a championship for Gear Cats, a debutante team this season. Only 2 drivers have won with this team this year. Actually, yeah, I don't think Josh Gimmy has won yet, so it would have been 2 drivers in both Sharp and Kruger have both won. Sharp trying to bring it home for Toyota, being the other rookie. We'll pivot to the 3rd rookie in the field now, Lilac Zier. Number 89. She has yet to find victory lane yet here this season. Very strong driver indeed, though with consistent top 5s. She came oh so close at Darlington, oh so close countless times, and just got caught with maybe a little handful of laps to go. She's always in contention, always willing to try a different strategy choice to try to get that car ahead. Keep an eye out for her. If late push comes to shove with strategy, she could find herself in a spot that could put her in contention. Lilac Zier are going to fire off in the top 2 rows. Seems to have the second most speed out of the 4, but we'll see if that contends to the main race. Also a rookie. And lastly, if she can take a title, she'll give her team boss, Ryan Pinnell, who is retiring at A Square competitions after tonight's A championship, to ride off into the swan song as a team owner. And that will pivot us to the last person here, Brandon Featherplace. As he comes down to pit lane right now. He was in the Final 4 last year at Phoenix. Felt confident when we talked to him last season. Felt confident he could have won that race, but sadly the chips did not land the way they did need to land. He also won the St. Louis Gateway race last season as well. This season, he didn't even start in the car. Life concerns and other things came out, and he wasn't able to get in the car early, but when opening opened up at Line Power, he found the time, and he was able to join the series in, and he made the most of it. Drove the wheel off that thing, got in on points, and has yet to find victory this season, but he's been one of those drivers that's been constantly top 3. You could even argue one of those drivers that have brought the thunder to both Hagan and Millett on a week-in and week-out basis. Definitely keep an eye on him here tonight. Doesn't feel the most confident, but if there's any time to find your first win in a season, this would be the race, and also sweep at least the constructors and the drivers for Line Power and Tom Sears. So that all 4 drivers and a little bit of a wrap-up to hear about what they're coming into tonight, their little allegories and analogies about tonight's festivities. Speaking of, while we got a little over 30 seconds to go in qualifying, we'll focus on another car here. We'll focus on Josh Gaiman here. Obviously, definitely had a good run the past few weeks. Would love to play spoiler along with the rest of the field and try to, at the very least, to end this season on a high. Speaking of as well, while we have this quick second, do want to reiterate as well, signups for registration will open in October for the A Squared Cup Series. So if you are watching at home and think you have what it takes, make sure you register on around October. Check ARCS Racing on Twitter. Check the social medias. All the links down in descriptions, as well as ABN_esports on social medias, a lot of different social media websites, or abnesports.com for the information on how you can register and hope your name could be one of the lucky 35 that get drafted to compete in the A Squared Cup Series next year. Warm-up officially concluded. We are now on to the main festivities. So we see right now the sun is already beginning to set a little bit. As you'll see right now, 134 laps await these drivers around Homestead-Miami. We'll take a quick look at where the starting grid piles on here, as we'll see where all the drivers will fire off. John Hagan and Zach Millett, they've been 1-2 for most of this year. Hagan obviously kicking himself a little bit. He will not be fighting for a championship, but John Hagan is. But Millett definitely showing why he may be a top pick next season if he elects to come back next season. Lilac Zier, Danny Michelle, row 2, Zier, next highest of the championship drivers in the second row, along with Danny Michelle. A round of 8X in the past 2 seasons, definitely looking to make that next step and maybe kick it off for the start of this year. Tom Sears and Brandon Featherplace, will be a line power lockout in row number 3 as they will clock out that 3rd row. Next up will be Mike LaJoy and Ross Baxter. They will make up row number 4 here. Lily Pelletier-Sharp, the last of the championship 4 here, going to be the lowest, but still in the top 10. Can't hate that. She'll be partnered with Austin Mongold on the outside. Brendan Roberts, the silver bracket champion, he'll be firing off P11, looking to do what only Zach Millett did this season and win 3 races in a row. He'll be P11 with Alfred George on his outside. And finishing up down the order here, we got Ryan Pennell, Mr. 600 and more. He'll be firing off with James Kerr. Obviously, Ryan Pennell, last race in A-Square competition, would love, to the very least, to end it with a win. Josh Gaiman and Josh Battles will be the next row here. Gear Cats, obviously, right now, we'll see if Emma Krug keeps her ownership or not. But at the very least, Gear Cats had a great drive this year. Josh Gaiman will be 15th, has made that number 1 overall pick proud. He'll be outside with Josh Battles. And lastly, we got Michael Lawrence in 17th and Donald Ray in the last row. Donald Ray looks like he is not slated to take the festivities. He's not spawned on the tracks. So Michael Lawrence with the last car is 17 here tonight. So while we take this extra lap, we'll get 1 extra lap of pacing here. For those watching at home here, obviously we see Kevin Feemster in the chat right now. Good luck to all drivers. The 21 was parked for the night. Obviously Feemster, it's great to see as well. Ran a great tribute scheme last week. We saw some glimpses of it to his late grandfather. And obviously it's a shame he's not here tonight, but obviously he is rooting on in the paddock as he is hoping to see some good festivities here tonight as well. Speaking of everyone watching at home, thank you for tuning in on this season. Obviously we won't get too mushy right now. We'll save that for the end. But I want to say right now, if you're watching at home, shoot off in the chat. I want to hear right now who you think will be taking the championship at the end of 134 laps. And if you think there'll be a different race winner than the champion, let's hear that as well. Personally, I think the champion is going to be the same driver that wins this race. And honestly, I can't bet against the 8-time winner in John Hagan looking to try to make it 9. It's just a hard bet to take. But I think John Hagan has the best odds. But I want to make it clear on record, I think any of these championship 4 can easily take home the win here tonight, or even finish the best of the 4 and take home that championship. No driver, I think, is out of contention, and I don't think there's any chance to say, if you say Hagan has the best odds, I think anyone else can say it as well. Pace car, gonna get on ready here to take the lonesome trip down pit lane here through 3 and 4. Control will be on the restart, will be on the green flag for the start. Every other significant restart will be on the control of the leader in that thing. Stages will end on 25 and 70. Pace car gonna get on ready here to take the lonesome trip, and we are gonna get this show underway here. Green flag is out, and for the final time in 2024, here we are. The Finish the Job 200 is underway at Miami. As they come off the last quarter, John Hagen will like what he wants to see at the end of this race. He will lead lap number 1 with Zach Millett and Lilac Zier in tow here, second and third. Speaking of Lilac Zier, you can see her on the high side. She's already drifting up to that high line, somewhat the preferred line here in this situation. Some can run low, some can run high. It is personally preferential where you want to run, and where you feel confident is where you will want to place your car most. Right now, she is still the only kind of true pioneer at the moment on that high groove, but I will see probably other drivers mosey on up there when the opportunity opens itself. Zach Millett will jump up ahead there. He will now take second position. Michelle will not be so lucky. Will have to slot in keep fourth position. This is where it gets a bit interesting as well, because team dynamics can play a bit of a factor here in certain situations. Right now, we'll obviously talk about it at least a little bit here. Brandon Featherplace right now currently sitting in 5th position. Dan Michelle and him are teammates at the same team. So there is a bit of incentive for Michelle. If there's a spot where they're fighting, Michelle to kind of maybe rack some havoc. Not wreck, obviously, but like race hard, battle the championship for, or at the very least, if it's a reverse spot, to maybe let Featherplace go if it's beneficial to his run. Speaking of, none of the 4 drivers in the championship 4 are from the same team, so they will have all the support of all their drivers, presumably, and teams here tonight. Right now, battle for second raging on. Michelle and Zier, they are now side by side here as well. Michelle, good at these kind of high-speed tracks here like Auto Club, Miami, around the others. Good at running these different lines. Keep an eye on him to be successful here. One more thing to note as well, if you are keeping an eye on, obviously, if you're wondering who's in the championship 4, we've gone over it countless times here, but just in case anyone's tuning in a little bit late, they may not know the picture. Left side of your screen, green box, if it's green, is a Championship 4 driver. They also have the green little windshield banner on top of their car. Everyone else will be signified by a black on the timing scoring board and a red windshield banner on their car. Battle for second still raging on here between Michelle and Zier. We'll ride on board here with Zach Millett here, as he's currently sitting in 4th position, putting a little bit of a good show here as he's watching these two rage on right now for position. Hagen's like seeing this because he is not really too much worried about his tires here, as well more these two fight, the more likely they're going to burn up their stuff and make the long run a little more favorable for that number 81. So top 4 still pretty much riding nose to tail here. Pretty much everyone is, but we see a little bit further back, Pelletier Sharp starting to make a bit of a move here as she just got around Mike LaJoy up 2 spots from where she qualified. She is currently sitting in 7th position and now trying to get a little bit further up to get around Tom Sears for 6th. Still the lowest of the 4 championship drivers, but it is early. No real reason to panic. No real reason to light tail here this early on. Try some different cameras here to see what's going on. You can see right there on the glimpse, Daniel Michelle, he is officially caught the back end of John Hagen here, and he is just at a blistering sector number 1 here in that number 25. Obviously, Michelle, it's been a little bit of time since his last victory as well, if I'm not mistaken. We'll check the details, but I believe it was Bristol last year in the playoffs. So it's been a little under a year. Again, would love to break that up. A lot of drivers looking to get those goose eggs out of their win totals and, in turn, set a good precedence for next season. Let's see the battle for the lead playing on here. See Zier going high side again. Comfortable distance ahead from Zach Millett right there in 4th. Keep an eye on Brandon Featherplace here in 5th. His times right now are indicatively holding station, but right now, not setting the world ablaze. Zach Millett, for reference point, just set the fast lap of the race here as he went at 32.93. Featherplace, the first driver after the top 4 to be in the 33 bracket. So he's trying to reel in here as he's got his own little train raging on behind him. Even worth noting as well, the top 4 of that last time by of Hagen, Michelle, Zier, and Millett all set personal best, all improved on their lap times and made something happen. Pelletier Sharp looking to make another move on the team boss of Brandon Featherplace. Low side, the number 18 is, and she looks like she's trying to make it smooth as candy. One Toyota trying to pass another one here. Yep, she will slot on up, and that will be a spot gain for Pelletier Sharp, at least in the short term here. We'll see if Sears or Roberts can make something happen here. We'll ride on board with the silver bracket champion, Bren Roberts. Obviously, see his last win was Talladega last week. And you can just see right now, kind of playing station here. No, he's just here. We talked to him last week. He's here just for the fun of it. He wants to show off and kind of have some fun and really just race hard here. He'll show, obviously, the championship for a little bit of respect. You don't want to be the driver that jumps a championship contender if you can help it. But he's still going to out here and have a race. Because at the end of the day, even though the championship four would love to make it a battle between themselves, they still don't want everyone to roll over and die. They want to fight. They want to compete. They want to flash the muscle and really show it off here as they battle on. So we're keeping an eye on this pack right now. Featherplace and Sharp, they're getting a little bit close up together. Sharp really showing some teeth here as she has now caught the back of Brandon Featherplace here. Sharp going to go low. Featherplace still going to stick to the high side here. And it looks like it may be a bit of a smooth operation here for the 18. Obviously, again, a little bit of bad angle there with the camera. Almost come to touching here. Cannot use that camera on that angle. Featherplace still going to hold station here as now Tom Sears is going to go low on Sharp here. Featherplace going to get clear here at the moment. Sharp and Sears will be side by side. Still side by side here as they head down the long stretch. Sharp will hold on position at least for now, but still not going away for a battle with Brandon Featherplace here. Ooh, Sears going to go low side here. Going to go side by side, heading off into the corner. Again, we'll cut back to Bren Roberts having the best seat in the house here as he's watching this battle rages on. Cern up the road, you can see Zach Millen has also reeled in Lilac here. Keep an eye on this battle for now, but if Millen gets a little bit closer, we may jump back up to that battle right now. Now Roberts going to try to make a move here on the high side. Try to get clear of Tom Sears here, and look at that, too wide for the battle here between Sharp and Sears. Neither driver giving an inch here. Remember, stage ends on lap 20, so this time by, there will be 6 laps to go in stage number 1. Actually, sorry, 25. So we're actually going to be 10 laps to go this time by. 11, 10 next time by. A bit of a miscalculation there. So now we have 11 laps to go in the stage. 10 next time by. Sharp holding on. A little bit up the road, though. We see battles playing on. Michelle, Millet, Zier have all caught each other here. Millet going to go smooth as candy around Lilac's ear, and now going to try to make a move on that number 25 machine to Zach Millet. Looking at times, you can see right now Hagen still running good laps. If we look at this top 4 here in a second here, John Hagen ran at that 33.34 that time by. Zach Millet a 33.11, Michelle a 33.20, and Lilac's ear a 33.52. So you can see Millet right now one of the fastest of the 4 in this pack of the top 4, and is trying to reel in that number 81. 25 and 31 still side by side here. Millet looking to clear, and he will get clear that time by. So put Millet now up to second. Michelle will now be down to 3rd spot as they head off into 1 here. And I think it's kind of worth noting here as we watch this battle still raging on. We'll see if we can find the right camera. Let's just show you how big this gap here is just for a second from Lilac's ear to Brandon Featherplace. We ride on the back camera of Lilac's ear here. That is about the equivalent of about a second and some change, as right now Lilac's ear just under a second to the leader, Brandon Featherplace 2.66. So it's about a second and a half distance away from Zier to Featherplace, and that can feel like an eternity around this circuit when you look at it from this perspective. Right now, Zier now on the back of Michelle. They'll be fighting for 3rd here, but Hagen still 8/10 clear of Millet, as you see on that angle, and then you can see Michelle, Millet, Michelle, and Zier all under earshot. Keeping an eye on another battle here. We're going to cut just a little bit back here to Brandon Featherplace. Bren Roberts has now reeled in that number 34 car. And a little bit of battle raging on as well. So we're keeping kind of a split eye on both the battle for 3rd and the battle for 5th, as they both have playoff implications. Zier looks like has made a move around Michelle. I think Michelle may have got a little loose. And now Roberts going to make a move around Brandon Featherplace. So Lilac's ear right now flexing her muscle. She's now up to 3rd position here, as you see right there in the wide shot, and she's able to get around the Line Power car. So Line Power a net loss as a team of 2 spots in the span of 1 corner. Ooh, back up though. Roberts and Featherplace still side by side. Featherplace not wanting to give that up without a fight. But Roberts going to hang tough on the high side and will keep station. Still, Featherplace not going away, but looks like he'll have to now officially slot in line in that number 2034 machine. He's right on board with the F Cancer machine here of Brandon Featherplace. One thing people will know is if you're a watchful eye, he is the thumbnail of this server, of this race's live broadcast on YouTube and also the race replay. So it is maybe a bit of an omen, maybe a bit of good luck. We'll see if that works out. We watch this battle. You can also see on the timing and scoring board, Sears and Sharp are fighting as well. Keep an eye on this battle, at least for the moment. That is settled out, so we're going to cut back to Sharp and Sears. They have been not able to really separate themselves from each other as they have been raging on an internal battle these last, give or take, 7-8 laps. Another driver that's kind of really crashed the party here, you can just see right there for a second behind, is Josh Gaiman. Biggest mover in the race along with Bren Roberts, both up 6 spots from where they qualified. Gaiman now officially inside the top 10, while Bren Roberts firmly inside the top 5 at the moment. Sears still can't fully get clear. We'll be in a duel and a dogfight down the backstretch here with the number 18. Should be worth noting, you're not missing anything up front. It is still John Hagan who is leading the way comfortably by 1.3 over Zach Millett. Hence why we're really not showing him that much, as he's really had not much pressure here early on. Sears will now get clear and will be promoted up to 7th. Sharp now down to 8th. And now this is where I'm talking about a little bit of battles here as we see Gear Cat car coming up. But Brandon Featherplace, he's still answering back here. He sees at least 2 spots here up the road. And when pit stops looming in about 2 laps time with the stage ending, this could be crucial for the number 34 cars we ride on board them. If you get a little closer, that can give you a better chance of maybe getting your virtual crew the chance to win the race off pit lane. Roberts gets the good runoff. 2 to go officially in the stage here. And now pit lane has officially been closed. So no drivers could do any cheeky strategy calls here, even though you would most likely lose a lap if you elected to pit before the stage ends. So right now, pretty much all under a blanket here. Zier, Millett, Roberts, and Featherplace, 3, 4, 5, and 6 respectively. And again, 1 extra spot gained or lost could be crucial when pit stops occur. John Hagan coming off the last corner here. He will see the white flag in stage number 1. 1.5 clear of Zach Millett, who currently just in 2nd position. But we're going to keep an eye on the battle for 3rd here as Michelle is going to go low on Lilac's ear. Roberts has crashed the party as well. Featherplace has fallen a little bit off here. Michelle going to be up to 3rd. And now Roberts looking to maybe put Zier back 1 more spot here. Stage should end when John Hagan crosses the line here, so we'll open up the track map here. And you can see right now as they come off of 3 and 4, we're going to stay on this battle here. John Hagan is going to come off the last corner and win the stage, and the caution's going to come out. It was close between Michelle and Zier, hence why we stayed on this battle. And it looks like Zier got it by a fingernail, as she will keep 3rd. Michelle will fall down to 4th. So John Hagan will now give him his flowers here. He will take stage number 1 here. He's done it many times this year and is looking to keep that going here in that number 81. Obviously, stages do not mean anything, as all the battles have been pretty much locked up for the most part here. No major changes can occur in the Final 4 and whatnot and everything else. So we'll read off the top 10 anyway. So theoretically, Hagan wins the stage with Millett 2nd, Zier 3rd, Michelle 4th, Roberts 5th, Featherplace 6th, Sears 7th, Sharp 8th, Gaiman 9th, and Mike LaJoy will round out the top 10. Pit lane officially opened here, and with the next wave of pit stops going to happen on lap 70, a little bit of a longer stage here. We'll see if any drivers maybe roll the dice, try something different. So we'll keep an eye on the wide shot here. Everyone has officially come in, so the whole field, no one's going to stay out here. No one went a lap down, and there were no cautions. So the question is, who will win this race off pit lane? Hagan enters his box. 2 tires go up for both the top 4 here. Pretty much everyone on the line. Oh, 1 car already leaving. They roll the dice here. We'll see who it is in a second. It is Bren Roberts with the big gamble here. I think that was 2-tire Bren there. Then it's going to be Hagan, Roberts, Zier, Michelle, Featherplace, Sears, Gaiman, Sharp, LaJoy. And then we'll stay on it till the end here. Baxter, Mongold, Pennell, George, Cheeseburger Lawrence, Battles, and James Kerr will all come up pit lane here in the next order. But Bren Roberts, I know I've said that nickname for Two Tires Featherplay, Two Tires Broadfoot, but Roberts has made those two-tire calls work. We saw it last week at Michigan. He made him work. He saved just enough of life in his tires to give himself the win. So he's also a good driver that knows how to save his tires. He feels confident with it. He'll take 2. The rest of the field, though, is going to take 4 tires. So we'll see what Brent can do with this track position. He thinks clean air is the way to success, and we'll see how it works out for that number 84. So obviously with no wave rounds and no other major incidents to report, we're going to go to green 1 lap earlier here. A few extra cars going to elect to come down. Alfred George, Ryan Pennell, James Kerr, all going to come in and top off a little extra fuel. But first 5 rows will fire off as so. Bren Roberts and James Hagan will be in row number 1. James Hagan is not the driver. That's John Hagan. Row 2 will be Zach Millett and Lilac Sear. Row 3 with Dan Michelle and Brandon Featherplace. Row 4 will be Tom Sears and Josh Gaiman. And row 5 will be Pelletier Sharp and Ross LaJoy, I believe it is, not Ross Baxter. But actually, it will be Baxter. So Baxter will be in the first 5 rows here. Hagan obviously was the strongest driver in stage number 1 of the playoff drivers. But now got a little bit of competition with his field getting re-bunched up. Can Millett maybe bring the thunder? Can Zier bring the thunder? Meanwhile, with Featherplace Sharp both kind of being in that second pack right now, what can they do to make adjustments here to make their cars a little bit better to have a chance to fight for this win? Pace car going to pull on off. It is going to be on the control of Bren Roberts here. They enter the restart zone. Green flag is out, and away we go for stage number 2. Right there, Roberts still holds charge. We usually wait to the last lap to come back here, but you can see right now major implications here. Roberts, Hagan, Zier going to go low on Michelle. I do wish we had a bit of a wide arc, but sadly, iRacing has not provided us one, so we're just going to ride with the angles we resided. John Hagan, though, going to get clear of Roberts and will make the moves to put Hagan now back up to the lead. Has led every lap here tonight and is looking to keep that trend going. Roberts in second, Millett in third. Top 6, pretty much in a blanket. Brandon Featherplace is there as well. Obviously, hard to see him. You can see him just sneak in stage right there. This wide angle clearly shows he's right there. But still got to try to find a way around that number 81. Back for the back, Featherplace and Zier. We're going to cut to this one. Even that second battle between Roberts and Millett is important as well. This is implications for playoffs. And right there, we can see right there, it did dissipate, so Millett ends up getting the pass on Roberts. We'll update that one right now. Millett, Roberts still side-by-side for second. These are the days I wish we had a side-by-side option where we could keep, like, 2 battles in the corner here. But right now, it is still everyone's single file in the top 6 for the most part here. Millett now caught the back of John Hagan here. Keep thinking James because I see his name pop up occasionally in other things, but right now, it's top 2. They're getting the pull away here. Sam Houston sends the regards. Anyway, a little inside joke there. You can see top 2 battling on. We're going to cut back to Featherplace and Zier here. Second best driver in the championship 4 right now. Battle between the 2 of them. We're keeping an eye on that lead as well. So we're keeping an eye on both battles here as they rage on. Right now, this is implicated a little bit closer than Millett and Hagan right now. So we're going to stay on this one at least for the moment. As Featherplace is going to get clear here of Zier, but you can see how close it is just up that road right now. So we're going to cut back to Roberts and Michelle. Roberts right in those 2 tires really aren't working, but this could be noteworthy knowledge for other drivers. We know Pelletier Sharp, she likes her 2 tires. You can honestly call odd strategy choices of Guyver her 2 victories at both Phoenix and Bristol. Put the car in a good spot. She was able to drive away with it and take the win. Roberts and Michelle side by side here. Roberts looking to clear here, low high, try to do a slide job. He'll keep the spot at least for now, but Michelle is knocking. Further up, you can see Millett right now hounding the back of that number 81. Now, this is where it gets implicatable here, because right now, Hagan doesn't have to win this race. obviously, the pride, the glory winning this race would feel good. If Millet does win this race, he'll tie John Hagen's 8 wins on the year. So there's that little bit of pride. Obviously, the racer in you does not want to give a lot of fight, but it raises that question as we'll actually ride on board here with Brendan Roberts here as we watch this battle just up the road here. It raises that implication where I don't know what you do in this situation, because if you're Hagen, you don't need to win it. But at the same time, you do not want to not let someone else win this race. You want to win it, celebrate, take the trophy, take everything. But it could come a point in this race where sometimes it may be the better strategy not to really get yourself in a spot where you can get dumped or wrecked or make a mistake just trying to hang on to a lead that doesn't reward a championship. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we continue on through this broadcast. But right now, it is still Hagen keep in charge. So even if Hagen doesn't get past, he doesn't have to worry about losing that lead. Top 4 beginning the breakaway again from Brandon Featherplace. And this is a bit of a kind of a hurt moment if you're Featherplace right now. You're just kind of in a bad spot right now. As you know, you got some speed, but it just seems like you're not in that next bracket right now. Zira showed some good speed, but she's right now buried in this little pack as well, just behind the line here between Josh Gaiman. There's Lilac Sear and Peltier Sharp fighting for that position. It's kind of one of those feelings where it sucks, where you know, like, you got a fast car possibly, but you're just kind of buried in traffic, or you don't get that good restart, and you're wondering what you got to do, try to get back up to that lead pack and put yourself in a spot to hang on right now. Maybe saving the tires is the name of the game. Maybe different strategies. This is where these drivers make the big buck calls that may end up rewarding them with glory. Right now, Gaiman going to rip it around the high side. We'll get clear of the 34. Let's put Gaiman in the top 5. Now up 10 spots more he qualified. And then it's Featherplace, Sharp, and Zier. So right now, as they run, John Hagen is looking poised to take this championship. But a lot can change in well over 100, a little less than 100 laps time. Speaking of, you see Sears and Zier fighting as well. This is just for 8th and 9th. Zier wondering where the first stage went. She was running high, running great in 3rd, and now she's starting to sink a little bit. She's side by side with that 14. Right now, actually, right on board here with right on board with Mike LaJoy here. Obviously, good to see him back in the cockpit after a couple weeks off. He's got, again, we cut these angles. I love these angles because it just shows you what's going up the road here. And just shows you how close it is between all these cars. You can see just there, you can see, obviously, Sharp, Featherplace, Zier, 6, 7, 8. And then you got Sears and LaJoy. And look at that gap. Gaiman has opened up on Sharp there, who's gotten around Featherplace. It's now well over a second. So this gap grows and grows and grows here. It makes you wonder what the end game is here. So right now we see Sears and LaJoy battling, but we're going to cut a little bit further up. You can see Featherplace and Zier. Featherplace really going backwards as well here. And see now he's going to get passed by Lilac Zier. So put Featherplace now to 8th. Maybe a saving grace, he's got Tom Sears behind him that may not fight him as hard, but he's going to come back on the low side, though. Again, you're not missing anything up front. John Hagen's got a 3/10 gap over Millet. Millet not really close enough to strike yet. That gets a little bit closer. We'll cut back up to that lead. Actually, we'll cut up to it right now just to show you what it looks like. There's John Hagen right now. You can see in 1st, and Millet there in 2nd. But Millet and Roberts still kind of a good battle here for 2nd, and then it's Michelle at 4th. So we'll stay on this for a second. Let Roberts and Millet have their kind of fight here. But we are keeping an eye on things. A little bit further back, we're going to cut back, change of mind here. Mike LaJoy just got around Brandon Featherplace. So now Featherplace down to 9th and beginning to fall here. Josh battles with a good driver now sitting in P10. As he's trying to get around Sears here. And he will. So put Battles at the 10th. Now Sears now down to 11th. So as we watch this battle rage on here, again, I'd like to thank everyone that is tuning in on ABN Studios, or if anyone is watching the post-race, watching this post-race on the replay of ABN Studios. Thank you for tuning in here for the finale, the just want to make sure I said the name right here. It's a little bit unconventional. It is the Finish the Job 200 here at Homestead-Miami. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Kevin Young. As always, brought you the 25 weeks of action, and we're going to see a champion crowned at the end tonight. Meanwhile, we'll see right there, Feather Place was falling further back. Lilac, Zier, and Sharp now having a battle here for 6th. Zier has found that little extra form here as she's beginning to push forward here as she's side by side with that number 18. Meanwhile, Zach Millett is, again, keeping John Hagen honest here. The 3/10 gap. But the 89 will hold on. Sharp will now fall, and now you can see Sharp going to go low side on the number 89. Sharp gets clear. Zier falls down a spot. Now Sharp will get it back. We'll cut a little bit further back here. There's Josh Battles in 10th. Michael Lawrence, Tom Sears. Again, what is going on at Lion Power seems to be the question right now. Is other than Daniel Michelle, Feather Place and Sears have really started to sink like a stone. Are they saving some tires? Checking the laps? Well, actually right on board in the cockpit of this 34. Is he trying something different here? Because let's look at his times here. He's running 33 nines to John Hagen's 33.06s. Even the cars around him, like Mike LaJoy running 33.4s, Lily Pelty Sharp 33.1s. Is he trying to save something here? Is he trying to make the strategy, or has something just gone wrong in this 34 right now? Just a line change, because he was running consistently top 6. He was running down Gaiman. He was running down Michelle. He was running down other cars. So this is really odd. I'm just circling it, kind of highlighting it, just because it's weird in the sense that it's an odd stage 1 to stage 2. Even Lilac Sear, who fell a little bit early, has found her form late. So we'll keep an eye on this, but this is just kind of a head-scratcher right now for this 34. Obviously, if he watches this race now, or if he's, obviously some drivers like to listen, like Josh Gaiman, or that, it's probably just going to be a little bit of a hurt moment per se. But right now, he's hitting P10, still a long way to go, and we'll see how it plays out. We'll get off that right now, obviously, and harping on it. We'll cut back up to our leader, John Hagen, right, in the red, white, and blue, number 81 here. He's got a 5/10 advantage over Zach Millett, 8 tenths clear of Bren Roberts, and then 2 seconds clear of Daniel Michelle. Top 3 pretty much all in our blanket. And this is where it kind of, I don't want to harp on the bad, but let's get it out of the way now before we get on the good. Bren Roberts obviously, again, missed the playoffs by a couple points. Those points go a different way. Even with Zach Millett, too, if he doesn't have that incident at Michigan, there's a good chance both of them are in the Final Four. And in turn, this could have been a championship fight right now between the three of them. Again, I don't want to take away from him. I make that sound like I'm sleeping on Sharp, Zier, and Feather Place. Strong drivers. We saw in stage 1. We've seen it throughout the year, but right now, they're really not that close right now. Bren Roberts unofficially here. He is in. He locks it up. Obviously, not 100% that the fuel tank can make it here. Obviously, stage ends at 70. This would be cutting it about halfway between stage 1 and stage 2. As we saw stage 1 end at 26, 25, and we got on 27. So we're cutting this in about half here. He's in. Let's just see whether he puts 2 or 4 tires on it. Probably going to be 4 tires here, I'd assume. 2. Oh, no, 2 tires. So he's going to take the 2 other tires here, and away he will go. So 2-tire call for Bren Roberts. Josh Gaiman as well. So it looks like there is a pit stop in this stage, and this may be something I was hinting at. Is Feather Place trying to hit a magical number to stay out here? It's an odd call without stage points mattering, but it could make sense when he's about 7 tenths clear, when he clearly could see his personal best were 33.05 is his personal best, and a 33.92 he consistently runs, while everyone else is running about 7 tenths clear. Is he trying to save something? 2 tires as well for Josh Gaiman as he is now away. But still, top 10 is mess of the field in the top 10 have yet to make their pit stops. And in turn, this is where also a strategy could hurt as well. Roberts and LaJoy. Here's Roberts right now. He's currently 3rd on track in the positions, but obviously right now a lap down, sitting in 16th. Josh Gaiman right now leaving the pit lane as well is going to come out just by Daniel Michelle. So they're going to basically get where they were previously with 2 tires, excluding being on the lead lap. So for caution to come out right now, pitting early. Obviously, the lead will probably cycle in with Roberts taking the lead back, especially if Hagen doesn't take take 4 if they even have to pit. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Roberts right now, if everyone pits before the end of the stage, Roberts, in theory, should take this lead at this stage. We'll do a quick wraparound right now to show, again, where everyone is at the moment. John Hagan, obviously the Final Four, currently sitting in first. Then you got Zach Millet in second. Danny Michelle there drifted away about 3 seconds behind that top 2 here, as he is currently sitting in third. Peltier Sharp in fourth right now, with Lilac Sear in fifth. Currently about 6 seconds away from John Hagan. Then you got Mike LaJoy here in seventh. Just got around Cheeseburger Lawrence in eighth. Then you got Josh Battles in ninth. Then you got Brandon Featherplace just inside the top 10, 11 seconds back of John Hagan here. Then Tom Sears, which, again, the only reason I keep harping on the fuel is we know Sears does this at Darlington. He loves to save and stretch and make a magical number work. Is he trying that right now? Both cars clearly have shown top speed, so interesting. Anyway, Ryan Pinnell now sitting in 11th, Mr. 600+. Final race here tonight. Would love a top 10, love a top 5. Would love to win in that pink-white body armor machine with a Ryan Blaney-inspired scheme here. Mongol now sitting in 12th as number 4. Second in the bracket standings. Obviously can't win it, but looking just at the very least to have some fun here and get some good experience for next year. Alfred George, the Bahama man, sitting in 13th. Just had a Ross Baxter in 14th and James Kerr in 15th. All on our screens right now as we speak. Then you got, obviously, Brent Roberts right now trying to officially unlap himself right now as he's going to try to rip it around the high side in those fresh tires and get around that 81. And he will do so now. So the 81 of Brendan Roberts, 84 I should say of Brendan Roberts, now back on the lead lap. So if Gosh were to come out, he would cycle at least to the lead without having to worry. And then lastly, just to finish our rundown, Josh Game right there, you can see right now, got around Michelle, but about 2 seconds away from Millet and Hagan unlap himself. But we're going to cut back up to Hagan right now as the battle is raging on. Millet is still staying with John Hagan right now. Obviously, for the pride of the win here, who can get the most wins of the season? Millet right now 4/10 behind that number 81 as we ride on board with Zach Millet here. Just to show you, as you see the line, see the change. He's running high groove. Hagan is running a low line here. Very odd strategy here. So Millet still keeping charge here. Now the question mark is, as we see lap 57 fire off here with 14 to go in stage number 2. Does a pit stop loom? Because we saw very early stops from both. Oh, speaking of, Mike Lawrence's pit. So I was going to say if we're going to see more pit stops. Oh, Lawrence hits the tires. He hits the incinerator. He did a Larson, and that killed the engine. And that is going to be curtains for the 47. Obviously, he does have a fast repair, but that is going to be any time gained lost here, as now he is going to have to sit on pit lane here at least for 2 minutes and try to get that engine repaired and then burn a fast repair. We'll take a quick look here, just riding on board with that 47. I know he's probably not going to be happy with me showing this, but just want to see what exactly happened here, because it is a very tricky exit here. Yeah, he just gets on there trying to get low. Car gets a little kicked. You can see it gets a little loose. Tries to save it. Looks like he tried to abort it, and then bam, right in the tire barrier. So it kicked off the corner awkwardly. He tried to pull out, and then it kicked back. Very odd spot for Lawrence, just showing how it can be crazy for these pit lane entry and exits. And with that looming, possibly for the rest of this field, at least once in this stage, and maybe another one the next stage, this could be, you got to be careful. We even seen it in real life. Kurt Busch had the incident in 04 where he missed his pit, almost hit the insinuator here at Homestead. Kyle Larson, a couple of years ago, he hit the insinuator head on. So you got to be careful with how you exit here at speed. Right now it's still Hagan, Millet, Michelle, your top 3. Nothing else really to report here for the top 10s. Everyone's pretty much spaced out for the most part. And speaking of Josh Game, you can see him in the mid shot there as he is slowly working his way towards the front here. Actually, Josh Gayman, sorry, working his way to get his lap back here. He'll go low side around the 81. And now he will also, at probably the end of this corner here, be back on the lead lap along with Bren Roberts. This battling is helping out Millet a little bit here as it's forcing Hagan to run a line he may not be the most comfortable with. And he gets itchy in the wall there a little bit. He gets stuck on the wall in that situation. Millet going to go low here. Can he make a move around John Hagan here? They'll be side by side down the backstretch. That's why I'm saying lap traffic could play a factor, and you saw it right there. As he was unlapping himself, Hagan had to ride a line he was uncomfortable with. Hagan will keep the position at least for now, but that woke him up at least a tiny bit in that number 81. No other major drivers have made a second pit stop here. Keeping an eye on it. Pinnell obviously just got around battles, and now LaJoy. Looks like LaJoy may be pitting. We're keeping an eye on this battle right now because LaJoy lost a lot of time there, but we don't want to lose this battle here. Oh, Hagan's in. Hagan's in. Let's make sure he gets in smooth. Car a little bit loose, locking it up, but he will successfully get his car down, so he'll be the first. Well, he'll be the leader coming in, but he also will be the first of the Championship 4 to make their pit stop in this stage. That will promote Zach Millet to the race lead. Then Michelle, Sharp, Zier, and Featherplace. I don't know why we cut through the angles there, but they will be the next cars. We'll focus on Hagan here as he's got a long way down the pit lane as he's got the first box being the pole sitter. Question is, 2 tires or 4 tires? Oh, fuel only for the 81. Cheeky call, but he figures he's got to pit anyway at the end of the stage. Might as well get the position. Millet also now officially in as well. That's going to promote Daniel Michelle to the lead. You'll see him come across the line. He will officially be in. So right now with the stage ending at 70, question is, who can make it to the end of the stage? Zach Millet in. Will it be fuel only for him as well? And he is away with a fuel-only call as well. So kind of a different dichotomy here. Michelle, and Hagan took fuel-only. Roberts and Gayman took 2 tires. And right now, Roberts inherently will take the lead here. As we'll keep an eye. This is going to be the race for the presumable lead if everyone pits. Roberts going to be coming out ahead here. So if all the field has to pit before this stage ends, Roberts will be your de facto leader. But if drivers can stay out, and most of these cars can stay out, this could be costly for John Hagan and Zach Millet along with the rest here. Up front, it is still Daniel Michelle show. Got a second gap over Pelletier Sharp. We'll see if he elects to come in here this time by. And he is staying out. He will go another lap. Pelletier Sharp is in, though. She will come on in, give up second position. Zier will stay out along with presumably Brandon Featherplace. He will along with the rest of the pack. Mike LaJoy and Josh Battles, they're both in as well here, pitting on lap 66. Question of the day, is Pelletier Sharp going to take tires here? Because this is the other strategy. You could take 4 tires here, stay out, and you'll lose time, but then you'll stay out and get it back if other cars come in, though. So it's going to be a risky call. She's taking 2. She's only going to take 2. Away she goes. Looks like Brent Roberts has had some trouble here. He has officially had a tow to pit lane. We'll take a quick look and see what happened. Roberts obviously was running around here, was de facto race leader if everyone pitted. Oh, he got loose off of 4. He hit the outside wall. It shot low, and big lick for the 84. Coming up the road here, luckily Hagan got clear. Everyone else got clear. No one else will pile in, and Roberts will have to tow to pit lane, and that is going to be he's going to at least go a couple laps down here, and that is going to put his chances of getting 3 wins out of the window, at least for now. Up front, Michelle still leading this way. Sharp just got her lap back as well. So now she's officially on a lap down. This is where it gets kind of interesting. 3 laps to go in the stage. It is Michelle, Zier, and Featherplace. 1, 2, 3. Then you can see Sears, Ryan Pinnell right here battling for position. LaJoy obviously got the fresh tires. He's not for position here. Question is, can they make it? What's the numbers looking like here? We'll go back to that battle just a little bit closer. Pinnell, remember, came in and topped off before the stage 2 ended. So stage 1 ended, I should say. We'll see if he elects to keep going. We'll also open up the track map here with officially 2 to go in the stage here. That's the car names. There's the car numbers. We'll see if anyone else elects to dump down here for the next 2 stages. Just to show you, again, if the top 10 can all stay out, top 8, because 8 came in, Alpha George just came in, so that will be one less. That's still going to be a net gain for the cars that just came in, because Gaiman, Millet, Hagan, Sharp, LaJoy, Battles will all have to come in and take tires and fuel to make it to the end, to try to get some fresh rubber here. So they cannot stay out, and they're going to lose a net gain of track position. Michelle still not going to come in. We're going to see 2 to go in the stage officially now. And there's one more risk as well. If you're a driver like Michelle, if you're a driver like Sears, you can maybe push it here because there's nothing else you're fighting for, but the penalty gets a little bit bigger if you're Lilac, Sear, or Brandon Featherplace. Right now, if you can't get to lap 70 and then get one extra lap over, is now actually on lap 70, so this is the white flag in the stage, it seems, as Danny Michelle looking poised to take it here. But if you can't make it back, and you run out before you can get to your pit box, you could be in for a world of hurt, as that is a penalty waiting to see you. Michelle coming on in here. No, he's not. Looks like he's maybe a bit slow. And yellow flag is out. So very odd end of the stage here. Michelle will take it, though. Zier will take it back over. So it'll be Michelle, Zier, Featherplace, Sears, Pinnell, Mongol, Baxter, Gaiman, Millet, Hagan, your top 10. Sharp, last one on the lead lap. She'll stay on the lead lap in 11th. After that, it's going to be LaJoy, Battles, George, Kerr, all one down. And it gets interesting because LaJoy will get the lucky dog here. He'll get back on the lead lap. So that may have been the call by Featherplace to save a little bit of fuel here, and it's worked. Maybe saved a little bit too much. But he, along with Zier, will be maybe in a better spot here as they'll come in and get a net gain on position over Hagan and Pelletier Sharp. So pit lane, in theory, I think should be open either this time by or next time by. We'll see if they elect to come in this time by. They will. So pit lane open, and you can see right now, Featherplace will get close here. Pinnell, and you can just see right now, for reference point, John Hagan's not even caught up to this group yet. He's now in, along with Pelletier Sharp, because even further back, so they will not gain any real spots on pit lane because of the strategy choice. So they will fire off, presumably, around 10th or 11th here. So we'll take a look at the pit lane. That's the wrong camera. That's the camera we're looking for. And we'll see who wins this race off pit lane. Looks like LaJoy, George, Battles, and Kerr will all stay out. One of those will get the lucky dog, and then gets Mike LaJoy. The rest will take the wave around. Everyone in their box. 2 tires for some, 4 tires for others. Away they go. Featherplace will fire off first here, but it's going to be Lilac Sears' crew getting the job done. She will win the race off pit lane. Featherplace will get second. Michelle 3rd, Sears 4th, Sharp 5th, Gaiman 6th, Hagan 7th, Millet 8th, Baxter 9th, Mongol 10th will be how pit lane ended. But that was a big win there for Lilac Sue's career, along with Brandon Featherplace. Featherplace gains a spot along with Lilac's ear. Michelle loses 2. So big win there for the Virtual Crews. And obviously, one pit stop still looms in that stage. And we saw when the pit stops kind of occurred here, you can safely make it with saving, not going hard out. Give or take around 45 laps, maybe a little bit less. We'll say 40 comfortably, 40, 45 range, closer to 40. And we look at how many laps we're going to go when we get the final stage here and get the green here. We're going to get another lap of pacing here. So we'll get the green on lap 75. You're looking at about 60 give or take laps. So there is a green flag pit stop that will loom, bearing a caution. But if you can get about 20 laps in the stage before a caution comes out, things can change. While we got this time under caution, we're going to take one more look at that incident with Bren Roberts. They did come right when the stage ended. I just want to see, because Hagan wasn't that far behind, I just want to see how close Hagan came to maybe being involved in this incident here. So we're going to follow John Hagan here, go on board with him. We obviously saw what happened to Roberts. Obviously, he's a little bit of ways up the road. You see that it's that little speck up there a little bit further up. So we're going to play it out here. You're going to see Roberts get a little bit loose again. Goes high, goes low. Car gets kicky. Goes low. Gaiman gets around. Coming up the road. Skates by. Not really too close, but that is a heart-in-the-throat moment when you see a car ping-ponging off the inside wall and shooting up the road. But luckily, it wasn't that aggressive of a shoot-up. So as we'll see again, George and Lawrence, along with Kerr, will all get the a lap back here. Lawrence will stay a lap down here. Bren Roberts still not in a pit lane yet. Looks like he may have had the same problem Millet did last week. Didn't check the box or actually check the box. It looks like his day may be officially done here. So we see George and Lawrence get on by. We're going to reset the field here again for the final stage and the last stage in the 2024 A² Cup Series season. It is going to be Zier and Feather Place row number 1, Michelle and Sears row number 2, Sharp Gaiman row 3, Hagen Baxter row 4. Not that. Sharp Gaiman row 3, Hagen Millet row 4, and Baxter Mongold row 5. Hey, last rundown of the season, and I make a little bit of a boo-boo of it, but we'll keep it going here. Lime Power occupies 3 out of the top 4 spots here. Gear Cats has the next 2 rows, the next row, and then it's a Beatron and a Bandit Racing in the next row. This is interesting to say the least. Zier is the only Ford in the top 6 in a sea of Toyotas. That has got to at least fear her a little bit. And you know, again, Lime Power may play a little bit of games. All teams will if the opportunity opens up. Pace Car going to get on ready here and take the lonesome trip down pit lane for the final stage. It's going to be on Lilac Zier's control. Green flag is out, and for the final time in a stage, we're underway here as Zier going to get a great launch. Ooh, car's getting in. We have a big wreck here. It looks like we're trying to see who it was. Looks like it's Mongold, and it looks like it's LaJoy. We saw a few cars have to take evasive action there. James Kerr also stopped there on the circuit. There's Mongold right there. He's a bit slow. We see James Kerr parked there on the front backstretch here. We'll see what exactly happened here. But first caution of the night here, and it looks like it may have been Mongold. Obviously, not 100%. Obviously, all ahead of the top 4. We're going to play it out here. Following Mongold, we'll see if anything else changes. Oh, Mongold gets a little loose, gets in the back, so gets in the Pennell, and then LaJoy nowhere to go. Kerr does a good job avoiding it there. Doesn't end up actually hitting much. But yeah, just a little bit of a mistake there by Mongold, and it had a major effect there. We'll take a second look here. We'll focus on another angle. This time we'll focus on Ryan Pennell, and we'll go from a different shot here. You'll see right here, coming off the corner, big lick. Gaiman also clips the wall a little bit. And you can see as the cars fan around, bit of a corner panel tear off there by the 12, but could have been a lot worse in that incident. We'll take another look as well from Pennell as well, because that didn't really give us much of an angle here. You'll see here again, just, yeah, piles in, just gets a bad lick there. As you can see, the 4 gets loose, 12 has nowhere to go, and bam, right into the corner panel right there. LaJoy also nowhere to go, as well as he just piles in. We'll take one more look at this. We'll focus on James Kerr, as he has a little bit of a wild ride here. So we're going to focus on Kerr here, rewind back, and we'll play it at James Kerr's discretion here. Keep an eye on Josh Gaiman there. Yeah, he gets a little bit of bump. He clips the wall a little bit. Could have minor damage just up the road, but look at that. Good avoidance there. Goes through the chicane, still avoids it. It's trying to save it. Again, that could have been a lot worse where it looked like it could be. That little minor buff will definitely buff out for that number 75. Back to live action we are. Handful of cars elected to come down. Josh Gaiman being the most highest one of them. He, along with LaJoy, battles Kerr, Mongold, Pennell all in. And Mongold and Pennell still on pit lane right now, obviously trying to fix up their machines. So maybe a bit of a neutralizer here, a bit of a cool the Jets moment here, as this will recycle the field here and let everything play out. At the moment, we have 17 cars still on the circuit right now. Roberts still with a long damage clock. We'll see if he even comes back out. He could be done for the day. Pennell, Mongold, they're both leaving their boxes right now. Lawrence coming back in. So right now at the moment, we have 15 cars on the lead lap. Michael Lawrence, I believe, is still at least a lap down. If he can get one more caution, he could get back on the lead lap. Roberts, multiple down. His day is pretty much done. And then Donald Ray did not take in tonight's festivities. This is a bit of a, no one can still make it. So this is not a situation where there's really a bad spot, because at the end of the day, no one can make it from here. No one can make it here from anyway. So this is kind of just a situation where it doesn't really hurt anyone. This caution coming out. Obviously, the cars that got tore up, it did hurt them. But it didn't hurt the major championship implications. It did give Hagen a bit of a closer restart here. But in turn, we'll see how this all plays. Because my estimation was that you need to make it about, I don't know, about give or take 10 laps. You have to make it to at least, we know it's about a 40-ish window you can comfortably make it, probably with maybe a tiny bit of saving. But we look at 34, that's 24, 14, 04, 94. So you can make it, if we get a caution around 94, then we'll see some strategies play out here. But right now, whole field, even if they're coming in, will have to come in one more time for a final pit stop. We should get the one to go this time by. It is going to be Zier and Feather Place, row number 1. Will be Sharp, Michelle, row 2. Hagen, Millet, row 3. Sorry, Sears and Hagen, row 3. Millet, Baxter, row 4. Game and Battles, your first 5 rows. This is going to be interesting. I don't know 100% how this is going to play out. Just testing the audio levels one more time. Just want to make sure if there's anything important, we do not miss it and make sure everyone watching at home can hear my wonderful voice. But we have Zier and Feather Place. This is top. The Championship 4 are all inside the top 6. Hagen has been the strongest car in the Championship 4. But right now at the moment, he is the lowest on track. Zier and Feather Place now getting some clean air. What will they be able to do with it? Sharp obviously also there in 4th. Maybe ready for a little bit of chaos. Pace car going to get on ready here. Going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane. It's going to be on Zier's control again here. Green flag is out, and away we go. Great launch by the 89. Brandon Featherplay is going to file in second here. Try to make moves. And look at John Hagen. He's trying to get through here, split the difference. He knows it's important to get going and get going quickly here. 3 wide between Sears and Sharp. Got to be careful. Sharp going to try to go low on the 25 of Michelle. Use this restart to your advantage here, boys and girls, and try to get the spots. Right now, you can see right now, Sharp will get clear. Hagen, Michelle will be fighting. Top 2 still right now. Featherplace and Zier. We'll keep an eye on that in a second. That could shake up. But right now, we're going to cut back up to the lead here as Hagen settled out. Featherplace going to go low here on the Lilac Zier train. And look at John Hagen. He's kind of boxed out Michelle here. Millet also in the distance, recovering so many battles. And Brandon Featherplace snuck by Lilac Zier. Put the 34 to the lead. The 89 going to jump low here and is going to try to switch back. Trying to do an over-under here. Zier going to try to get clear. Will get clear. Just a lot of chaos happening at once. Peltier Sharp now up the 3rd. And look at Hagen still trying to get that aggressive side draft off that number 81 of John Hagen. Hagen, Michelle, side by side here. Focus on this for a second because Hagen's trying to get clear. He will now officially get cleared. Miss Millet going to go through. Baxter with a wild ride low side here. He has it saved, but he went for a wild ride low side here. We're going to cut back up to the lead. Zier, Sharp, Featherplace, Hagen, top 4 in the championship, 1 through 4. But Lilac Zier has the clean track. But Peltier Sharp is there, and she is knocking in her Toyota. The Ford, it's a Ford sandwich with Toyota meat right now. Zier holding strong. Personal best of the race last time by was Lily Peltier Sharp. Sears just went a little bit wide. He has saved it. He is back up. Sharp going to go low on that 89. Went personal best last time by and race best. She wants this lead. She will take this lead. She will take the lead of this race and lead this lap this time by. Further back, Featherplace and Hagen. The 2 boys of the field, they are fighting side by side here. Hagen, Featherplace, dueling it out. Millet is well there in the distance along with Michelle. This is pure racecraft right now. Can Hagen get clear of this 34? Still beating and banging here. Cars trying to jostle for position. Hagen gets clear. Featherplace gets a little loose, and that's going to open the door for more cars to pass by. He's going to get passed by over Millet and Michelle here. So just one little twitch at the bat time, and he is now down to 6th position. Further up the road, it is still Sharp, Zier, and Hagen. 1, 2, 3, as we see this lovely shot here as the sun is setting and turning to a nice orange-colored sky. Michelle, Milt, we're going to cut to them. They're side by side. Not much implications at the moment, but just a battle raging on. Feather Place hanging on tough behind those two spots. We'll actually ride on board here with that 34 machine of Brandon Feather Place. Has a good seat in the house right now as he's sitting in 6th. Right now, high, trying to go low side of his teammate, the 25 of Daniel Michelle here. Up front, we're going to hold that thought. Peltier Sharp under pressure here from Lilac Zier. Zier going to try to close the door and get on the inside of Sharp, who tried to close the door side by side. And it's going to be Sharp still trying to hang and rip it around that high side. She'll keep the spot at least for now, but Zier is there. And now John Hagen is as well. Hagen going to go low side on the 89 of Lilac Zier. Hagen looking to try to take it back. And he will get clear just by a fender over that 81 machine. Hagen now up the second, trying to get back to the lead here. Can Peltier Sharp hang on here? She's been doing a good job controlling the lines, but it just takes one twitch, one bad little move, and you could end up losing your spot and maybe losing this championship. Battle for third there, just on the far shot. Keep an eye on this. Is Michelle, Zier, Millet there, and then there's also Feather Place there in a distant, not a distance, but a close 6th. Game in there as well in 7th. Michelle going to end up losing 2 spots. Is going to lose out to both Millet there, and is now going to fall to 5th. Zier still in 3rd. Trying to cover as many battles as we can here. Feather Place, Gaiman, they're having a bit of a battle here. Gaiman got a good run off 4. Going to try to get back on in the long straight here to make a move. Feather Place going to go low. Will at least hold off the charge at least for now. Back up to the lead. Hagen getting closer and edging ever so close to the 18 of Peltier Sharp. John Hagen going to be on the quarter panel. Aggressively side drafts 2 times. They touch both times. And John Hagen going to get clear. Obviously, right now, that 18 not going to be happy that she got rubbed against twice there. But Hagen going to get clear. Put Hagen back up to the lead here, coming to lap 90. Meanwhile, the pit stop window has officially opened, if my math is correct. Give or take, it can't officially open, but not really a range people are going to pit in here. Lilac's here, going to try to make a move here, going low, but Millet's going to be there on the high side. Sharp answering back here. We know Sharp's the driver that's not going to be willing to get pushed around here if you rattle her cage. They'll be side by side heading off of 4 here. Hagen will hold the charge. Now here comes Millet around the high side on Peltier Sharp. Sharp going to try to go low again. Hagen going to cover off. Millet going to rip it around the high side, looking clear for second, and he will get the job done. So put now Hagen to second. Now Danny Michelle going to sneak on by for third. So a couple more cars you can put between the 2 championship rivals at the moment. Hagen going to rip it around the high side. He's going to get stuck. Clipped to the wall a little bit too much. Millet going to be on the low side right now. Drag racing down the stretch. And it's going to be Millet leading that lap. But Hagen going to try to box out the door here. He's got to be careful. He boxed out a little bit too much. He could get hooked on a corner panel by accident. Millet still on the low side here, trying to rip and ride, trying to make something happen here. Hagen still leading the way. Millet, Michelle side by side for second. Sharp there in 4th. Then it's Zier, Game, and Feather Place all within a second, under in a second umbrella here. Michelle now to second here. Oh, he gets in the wall, though. That's going to check up a little bit. Millet going to get around the middle groove there. Going to clear. So put Millet now up to second. Michelle down to third. Zier and Sharp fighting for second right now in the championship. And I honestly look at this thinking maybe this is going to be a situation where these cars, you may have to try an alt strategy if you want to win this championship. Windows officially opened. It'd be kind of silly to come down this early, but this could be a call that could maybe make or break a season. We know 2 tires can make it at a certain distance. We saw it with Roberts and Gaiman. They took 2 tires. They made about half distance. Can you maybe, if we see another 10 laps here, maybe 2 tires could work. Is it worth the risk? This is the things these drivers are thinking about right now, trying to make moves at well over 180 miles an hour. Zier trying to get around Michelle here. Hagan has opened up an 8/10 lead to his second main rival in the championship. We're focusing on this right now. Millett is gotten within a distance of Hagan. We're focusing on this as this has a little bit more implications on the championship. Zier, Michelle. Michelle will get clear right now at the moment, so keep Michelle in position 3. We'll cut back up to the lead for a second here. Millett now hounding back down Hagan. Hagan holding strong and keeping the charge, at least for now. Again, only car in right now is Josh Battles, but it looks like it was a scheduled stop for him, possibly. He is now away, 16 seconds for him. We'll focus, we'll ride on board here with Zach Millett just to see what he has to do, trying to change his line here to maybe get around that 81 of John Hagan. Lights have officially come on here at Homestead-Miami as the virtual crowd is beginning to roar. A little bit further back, Zier, Michelle will stay on the camera. You can see right now Zier going to try to over-under that number 25 machine, and she will successfully do it. Put her up the 3rd, Michelle the 4th, and now look at Peltier Sharp. She wants a piece of it. She is going to try to answer back here, but just a little bit too far back. Feather Place under attack by Gaiman. But Feather Place still holding on the 6th. We'll cut back up to Sharp on the corner, but almost got into the corner pad of Michelle there. Bull hold station. Again, window is officially opened. Cars could, in theory, pit from here and make it to the end of this race. If my math is correct, considering how long Stage 2 was and how some drivers made it to the end. Now, that took some lifting and some saving, at least to go 45. But the question is, now that we're under 40 now, does it become more enticing? Who will be the first of the championship drivers to pull off here? Sharp gets a little loose again. She's under pressure from Feather Place and Gaiman. Right now, Hagan's got a 7/10 gap over Millett, has opened it up. Feather Place going to go low on the 18. Go low side. And will almost get clear there. Still side by side, long straight down the straight here. They shoot down the corner. What driver can get the edge here? It will be, Feather Place trying to slide job his way up. He will. Sharp now going to answer back on the over-under. Another car in, Austin Mongold. Maybe final pit stop of the night, but that was outside the top 10. Sharp going to clear Feather Place, trying to do it. Very aggressive move there. Almost got herself fenced for the troubles. And you're seeing the pressure rage on here, knowing this is final stage. This time by 35 laps to go. This season is going to be told in 35 laps. Sharp will hang on and get some distance from Feather Place. We'll cut up to our race leader, John Hagan. He's opened up a second gap over Zach Millett in second place. Then you got Lilacs here in third, Danny Michelle in fourth, and then you still got Sharp and Feather Place. They're still fighting hard here. Feather Place, Sharp still side by side. Gap is about 3 seconds away from the lead right now, and as they fight, that gap will grow. Car just hit the wall there. I think it may have been Michelle or Sears. Back up to the front again we'll go. John Hagan beginning the pole. Second clear, that time by. We'll check the times as they come across the line here, but I believe he is the fastest. Checking the times on the board. Dead heat with Zach Millett. Next fastest on the field, surprisingly, Brandon Feather Place right now sitting in fifth. Ran a 3.46 to Millett's and Hagan's 3.41s. Again, window. I keep saying window's officially open. I know I'm harping it beating it like a dead horse, harping it like a harp. But it's worth noting, we've seen strategies work. Bren Roberts won last week, taking 2 tires and the undercut. Brandon Proudfoot won Nashville, doing a 2-tire call as well, making it work. Lilac Sear got a second using that strategy. 2 tires and an undercut can get you position that could win you this race, or at least win you a championship. And right now, I wonder if any of these drivers are willing to try this risk. Still no major blinks at the moment. It is still the John Hagan show leading this way. Lilac Sear is now fallen into the clutches of Dan Michelle and Brandon Featherplace. Sharp is beginning to fall back. She's now second back from this pack we're watching right now. That's 3rd through 6th. And they're about a second and a half away from Millet as well. Millet's starting to lose time to Hagan. Looks like Lilac Sear, she's in. She'll be the first to pit. She's losing it out of control, but she will make it. Zier and Sharp and LaJoy all in. They will make their final pit stop of the night, and they will be the undercutters of this strategy. We're going to stay on board both Sharp and Zier and see what their strategy element it is. Sharp will hit her box first. Let's see, 2, 4. Zier does not miss her box. No driver misses their box here. 2 tires for at least Sharp. Both up. Will the 4 tires go? No, 2 tires for Sharp, 4 tires for Zier. Implications aplenty. Michelle and Baxter in as well. So Sharp will gain some time here. She thinks 2 tires is her day of reckoning. Zier will take 4. Meanwhile, Michelle and Baxter both in. Hagan, Millet, Featherplace, Gaiman still going long here. The longer they stay out, the longer that undercut may hurt them. But we'll give them the chance to maybe take 2 tires or 4. Millet in now. He is coming in the box. He is way out of control. He'll get it locked down, though. Got to make sure you do not speed. This is the money stop. This is the most important stop of the race and maybe the season. You do not want to speed, but you need to get as much time as you can. We'll stay on board with Millet as well. We'll see what he's thinking. It could be indicative of what Hagan and Featherplace do. In he goes. Jack up for 2. Does he end up taking 4? 4 tires for that car. And John Hagan, he is in. Handing the lead over to Brandon Featherplace. We're staying. I want to watch the pit stops here because this is the important one. Hagan is officially in. 2 or 4 tires could decide a season here. What does he think is his best chance of winning this race and maybe winning this championship? 2 tires up on the left. Does he take 4? He will take 4. So we're going to cut the Featherplace as he will be the final of the championship 4 in. He will have the freshest tires, but also going to have the biggest legwork to do with 25 laps to go. Josh Gaiman will take the lead. We're staying on board here right now at the moment with this pack, but worth noting, John Hagan going to come out and blend ahead of Pelletier Sharp on 2 tires. We're going to stay now. This is a big battle here. Sharp needs to get around Hagan. He will. Millet going to try to follow suit as well. Sharp's 2-tire gamble has played out dividends. She will take the lead when it all cycles through at the moment. Hagan with his cold tires going to have to cycle through. Featherplace, 4 tires, and he is away as well. He took 4. He will fall back here at least a distance to 8th, now 9th. But the positive is he will have the freshest tires in this field. But Pelletier Sharp's 2-tire gamble has worked her with the track position, but she is going to have to hang on for 24 laps to make this work. That is going to be a Herculean task. But she's done it at Bristol, and she did it at Phoenix. Can she do it again? Right now, she's hounded by Zach Millet. Millet is not her main enemy here, but having that buffer car could be beneficial to her. Dan Michelle just set the purple best of the race here. He is currently the car sitting in 8th on the track. Will cycle into 5th when all cars make their pit stops. Worth noting, Brandon Featherplace still has not got his lap back yet. right now at the moment through the cycle through. We're staying on this right now as this is what could be the battle for the race lead and maybe the championship. Millet, low side is Sharp. Hagen right now just ready to maybe pick the bones if something opens up. We're right on board with the 81. Millet going to slot back in line. 22 laps to go. Hagen, low side of Millet here as they rage on war here. Zier there, you can see a distant next spot. Then you can see Michelle, Gaiman. And then it's Feather Place even further back. There you can see him. Hagen going to be on the corner panel, 31 of Millet. Honestly, right now, I think Feather Place is going to need a caution to get back in this. I'd even say so with Zier, too. They both may need cautions to have a chance to win this championship. Gaiman in right now. He will officially pit. He's in his box. That will promote Elfridge George to the race lead. We're staying on this, though. This is what's going to be for the championship. Sorry to Alfred George and Ryan Pennell. I know you want your 15 seconds of screen time, but I do not want to cut away from this. Millet gets hooked on Hagen. Millet gets hooked on Hagen. Hagen, Millet, both slow. Millet still loose. They will get stuck together. Zier going to slide up more time here. And that could be what helps out Sharp a treat, as that it's given her well over a 2-second gap to the next car in line. We'll take a quick look at what exactly happened there, if I can find it real fast in my battle box. Yeah, we'll rewind real fast. This is important to watch. What exactly happened here? We'll see if we can get a little bit better of an angle here. Coming down the backstretch is a replay of what just happened. Oh, Hagen, aggressive side draft, maybe on Millet. Got on the corner panel, and that took them both and slowed them both down. Big implications there as they touched. No caution called. Back up, Alfred George, Ryan Pennell will give them their flowers in a second here to show you what's going on the screen. Let them have their moments. Obviously been with Presidential Racing for a long time, both of them. Last season for Ryan Pennell. Alfred George as well. Bahama Man's always put some good runs. Highest to 4th at Kansas. We're going to let them have their moment in the sun before we go back to the implications on track. So they're just riding around, maybe trying to hope for a caution or hope for something as they are 1-2. We're going to cut back now up to Sharp here and Hagen. Sharp, right now at the moment, 1.7 clear of Hagen. Hagen, only about, give or take, about a second clear of Lilac Zier in 3rd. And then you got Daniel Michelle in 4th trying to play ultimate spoiler. Then you got Millet and Feather Place the next two on track. The gap from Sharp to Feather Place right now, the highest to the lowest of the Championship 4, is a gap of about 7 seconds. But Sharp has to hang on. She's gotten this, helped her out a treat here. Can she make it work here? Looking at laps last time by, she ran a 32.02 to John Hagen's 32.92, so she's doing what she needs to at the moment as that gap grows. Zier, Michelle side by side. We know Zier's got a little bit faster of a car. Ryan Pennell is coming in for his final pit stop. He'll give up 2nd place here. He is in. Alfred George will continue on at the moment. Again, he will not make it the laps he needs to do it, but he's trying whatever he can. Sharp right now will now be the 2nd. Then you got Hagen, and then you got a drag race between Michelle and Zier. Michelle could help out Feather Place a little bit. If he can get clear here and back up the pack, it could give Feather Place a chance here. Lawrence will escape the pit lane here. Couple laps down. You can see right there, Hagen trying whatever he can do to get that little extra toe down the long straight. He is trying. He is pleading. Alfred George in officially now. That will promote Pelletier Sharp for Gear Cats to the lead of this race with 16 laps to go. 1.5 seconds is the name of the game between Sharp and John Hagen. At the moment, Hagen is cutting in about a 10th a lap, maybe even 2/10 on Pelletier Sharp. Hagen will get, at that rate, will catch back up to Pelletier Sharp. But the question is, you can catch a driver, but can you pass him? We'll take this opportunity while we have this lull in the action to do a quick update at where the final 4 are and where they're on the track. We see Sharp right here, 1.2 clear Hagen. Hagen in 2nd. Right now trying to catch Pelletier Sharp. Michelle sitting in 3rd, but the next rival, Lilac Zier here, battling Michelle. 2.79 away from Sharp and maybe a second and some change away from Hagen. Then you got Millet, and then you got Brandon Feather Place. Farthest away right now, he went the latest with the 4 tires. Maybe needs a caution to get back in this. 6 seconds is a big task, but at the very least, he will have the freshest tires to try to run down this pack. Back up, Hagan, purple sector 1. What can he put to light up the board here? Is it going to be a best session best? It will not be a session best. Couple tenths away. 32.83 is personal best. This race was a 32.78. For reference point, Pelletier Sharp ran a 33.03 that time by. 14 laps to go, and this is what separates the championship two right now. A second. Alfred George, only lap car at the moment. Sharp's going to catch Hagan flirting with the wall here, taking the Reddick line. Or the Larson line, depending on when you grew up watching this sport. 9 tenths is the gap again. We're going to cut back up to Sharp. She's got to get around George quickly. You know she's on the radio right now telling George, get out of the way, please. Help me. Don't impede me. But George has the fresher tires, so in theory, George should pull away from Sharp. The only other car they can catch right now is Pinnell, but Pinnell, obviously on the fresher tires, is pulling away at a gooder rate. Sharp going to clear George. Clean track at the moment for Alfred George. You'll see as well, George will get clear and jump in front of Hagan and will get out of the way. Gap is now half a second. Hagan flirting with that wall right now. Gear Cats versus B-Tron for what could be the title here, bearing any shenanigans or late race cautions. And you know right now in the back of your mind, Sharp remembers that aggressive side draft. What will she do? How aggressive will she block? Hagan, though, showing those 4 tires off and flexing them. 11 laps to go. Hagan pulling and reeling in this number 18. Coming off corner X entry. They'll be side by side. And I think it may be a bit of a smooth sail here. Sharp can't fight it as much as she can. Down the back stretch, aggressive side drafting a little bit by the 81. Shooting off in the 3. Sharp still on that high side, though. Hagan trying to clear, almost touching. And they'll still be side by side. Sharp going to get the better runoff. 10 laps to go as they file off in the 1. Sharp going to try to box her. He clips the 81's corner panel. Sharp going to hang on at least for the moment here, but you know Hagan's going to have that in the back of his mind. Love and war out on the track. Sharp hanging on for the moment. Hagan trying to close in. Next closest rival is Zier 2.6 back. If they were to touch and collide. Hagan hard into the fence multiple times there. Just trying anything to get the car to rotate. 9 laps to go on this season. What can Hagan do here? Can Sharp hang on? She did it once at Phoenix. She did it twice at Bristol. Hagan gonna go over under here. Gets a great run out. Heading off to the corner exit. What will he do? How aggressive will he clear? He's got the room. He's got the distance. He will clear the 18. Put the 81 up to the lead, to the point. 8 laps to go. 2 attempts between Hagan and Sharp. But as Sharp's 2 tires run out of grip here. The call got her position, but is it not going to be enough life to make it happen? 5 attempts now opened up between the two of them. Half a second as Sharp trying whatever she can do to try to reel back in that 81. Seeing the championship slipping through her fingers right now. Just hoping and pleading that these tires have a little extra life right now. 7 laps to go. Gap stabilized, but it's still half a second. You can see on the track map right now, as we now take it off, John Hagan, no lap traffic ahead. It's only going to be Ryan Pinnell that he will seek. And he will probably not catch him before this race is concluded. Gap is now 7 tenths and growing. 8 tenths. Hagan pulling away. Again, just to update where everyone is. Hagan right there, currently leading. Sharp about 7 tenths back. Lilacs here 3 back in about 4th. And Brandon Featherplace 6 back in 6th. You can see right there, Zier trying to hang on from Zach Millett to keep that spot for 4th. caution were to come out, it could shake up everything. Gap is still 7/10 between Hagan and Sharp, this time by 5 laps to go. 5 laps separates a driver from immortality. And the question is, who will that person be? Right now, bearing any sort of cautions, it looks like it will be John Hagan. But anything is possible. I've seen stranger things happen. Again, want to take this opportunity before we get to the all of it. Thank you for tuning in here as you'll see the finale with 4 laps to go. John Hagan 1.3 clear of Pelletier Sharp. Sharp is losing time and keeps losing time. I love the call she tried with 2 tires, but it may not be enough. With a season that has had tons of races decided between 2 and 4 tires, I think 2 tires have won some battles, but it looks like 4 tires will win the war. Hagan coming off of 4, 3 laps to go. We'll also be reminded as well, do not go anywhere after this race. You'll hear from the champion, the race winner, whoever that driver may be, along with the top 3, and maybe if we can get them, we may hear from Zero and Feather Place and whoever else finished outside the top 3, but we'll check by availability as it's probably a heartbreak to finish outside the top, finish not winning the championship, but we'll see as it plays on. Gap is now 2 seconds and growing between Hagan and Sharp, now 2.18. 2 laps to go. John Hagan is hoping he can see that white flag. No more breaks, no more things. If he can get around one more time, the white flag, no chance at a caution. He just has to bring it back. And he is putting the hammer down, but not over-pushing. Millet's got around Michelle, some implications for the last step of the podium, but we're staying on this battle right now to the finish line. Looks like Michelle's actually lost some time. He may have spun, but it's not going to be enough here. As Hagan comes off the last corner, he will see the white flag in the air. 1 lap to go, brought to you by Smeal Racing Designs. And it is a big moment here. 2 more corners to go as he works his way down the backstretch here. No chance at a rival. No chance at a rebuttal. No cars ahead of him. No cars behind of him. As he comes through 3 and 4, John Hagan, a driver that many teams overlooked, was taking the second rounds. Drivers question his temperament, whether he could keep it all together or win it all. Well, he's done it now. 9 wins on the year, and he is your 2024 A-Squared Cup Series champion. John Hagan brings home the goods and brings home the championship for B-Tron. Back-to-back drivers' championships for B-Tron Racing. Pelletier Sharp will bring it home in second. Heartbreaking for her, but she tried what she could do. Lilac Sear will bring it home in 4th, and Brandon Featherplace will get 5th. They tried it as well, but not enough. No one could stop the domination of John Hagan here tonight, and that was the final results. But now you'll see the congratulatories. Alfred George with a congratulatory bump. I think Brandon Featherplace is going to come and show some love as well. He'll give a little tap, a couple taps there as well. And Pelletier Sharp, it's a conga line here. Everyone's showing their regards here. Sharp will also shoot it as well as the rest of the field piles in here. It is all smiles for John Hagan right now. As he's going to come on in, we are going to go basically take the graphics off the screen and let him burn it down here. Your race winner and your champion, John Hagan. Take a bow, son. You can also see Ryan Pinnell joining as well, as this is his final season here in A-Squared. He'll do a little bit of a Polish victory lap here, but we're going to stay on Hagan here and let him finish his moment. Then we'll cut back to Pinnell here. But what a drive. So keep spinning it out here. Again, for a driver that was picked in the second round, late in the second round, I remember talking to Carmen on that draft day and saying that he was going to be a threat to win the championship. And a lot of drivers were worried about how he drove on the next-gen car, how he was going to drive. Well, 9 wins on the year in the championship. I guess at the end of the day, I said, draft day, we can pull up the tapes. Keep an eye on Hagan to be a championship driver and win this championship. And, well, it has come to roost. He'll drive around here and do his lap. We'll also give Pinnell, Mr. ARCS, as he is also doing his lap here too. We'll let him as well take a little bit of the screen here. He drove around, stayed out as late as he could. Got a P11. Would have been fitting if he got a 12 to match the car number. But Mr. 600 will be ending his career here and will most likely be joining the A Square booth, whether it be on ABN, whether it be on another stream. We don't know who's going to get the rights next year. I'd love to come back. ABM would love to probably host it as well. We'll have to see how the combinations go, but we'll probably be joined by Mr. 12 there, Mr. Ryan Pinnell, as he finishes up his little lap here. But as he keeps going, we're going to cut back to John Hagan, who's parked it on the front stretch here. He is your race winner and your champion. Pinnell will now join the shot here. See if we can get a good shot of that in an angle here. Actually, I think that was our best angle, as he will park it up. We'll take a look at the final results here, and then we'll get to some interviews here, just because SDK always likes to crash at me at the weird times. Hagan takes your win. Sharp gets second. Millet rounds out the top 3. Zier fourth. Feather Place 5th. Gaiman 6th. Baxter 7th. Tom Sears 8th. Daniel Michelle 9th. Mike LaJoy 10th. Ryan Pinnell 11th. Alfred George 12th. Michael Lawrence 13th. And then we get into the retirements of Austin Mongold, Josh Battles, James Kerr, Bren Roberts, and Donald Ray as they finish it out here tonight. As Ryan Pinnell does a little extra flick there, going to park on up here for some celebratory photos between the two of them. We're going to take a look to see who is ready to go in the interview room here and see who is ready for their thoughts. If we can ever find the right server here. All right, we'll take a look here. We do have the top 3. Oh, we don't have the top 3 yet, but we do have 4, 5, 6. So we're going to do this as it is a special occasion. We are going to work our way up here, and we're actually going to hear from, if any of the Final 4 want to come in as well, we'll pull them in, hear the thoughts, but we're going to work our way up here. So we're going to do Zier, then Millet, then Sharp, then Hagan. If Feather Place joins, he's also welcome to give a few thoughts if he wants as well. We may even bring in Ryan Pinnell. It's a fun race of the year. Let's have a big, old, fun little party here and hear a lot of people's thoughts here. But, honestly, who should we start with first? Let's just start with Brandon Feather Place. We'll bring him in as you saw him join in. We'll hear his thoughts real fast and talk our way up here. Brandon, this is Kevin the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
I know it's a heartbreaking feeling here, and obviously it's been a long race, but we do want to hear your thoughts about tonight's festivities. But what I guess Homestead, you were optimistic about the track. You were racing well there. How did it feel out there?
It was one of those races that you were just having to race the track. I mean, I couldn't seem to find the right amount of pace all night, trying to do different pit strats and trying to kind of do little things that I could, but I didn't have the pace. So I would have much rather liked this race to have been back at Phoenix, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is indeed. We saw in that second strategy, just real fast, I'm curious, were you trying to save fuel in that second stage to make it to the end?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Tom told me that it was possible in the chat, so I said, well, let's see what we can do. And hey, it worked out. He was right.
Yeah. Moving further on as well, we'll keep this a little bit brief. We got a lot of news to go through as well. Final stage, you went for the 4 tires in the overcut. Was the plan to try to run them down? Were you hoping for a caution? What was in that final stage in your thoughts?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to come up with a pit strat that would work. I had considered 2 tires, and being the final race, I probably should have made that call just to see where it would have brought me out. But with Higgins' pace and Zier and all of them, I may not have came out where I needed to. So I was hoping with 4 that everyone up there racing door to door would kind of put each other into the fence and we would be looking pretty, but we just didn't have that pace.
Well, obviously you can't take a chance for trying to make something happen there. You drove the wheel all season. You had a great drive throughout the year. Closing thoughts on the season as well, and if anyone want to think about this season, family, friends, or sponsors, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah. Thanks to Lion Power, Tom Sears, thanks to my friends and family, everyone watching. I would have liked to have brought home the chip tonight, but sometimes it's just you can't make it work. So we'll uh we'll take this off season and think about it and come back stronger next year.
Well, we wish you the well there. Obviously, it'll be great to see you next season. Hopefully, you can do well and get that off-season performance going. But thank you for talking to us, taking all the season here, and coming for all the races, Brandon. You have a good rest of the year, and hopefully see you in the track next year.
Yes, sir. See you then.
And that was Brandon Featherplace, fourth in the championship finishes. Not what he wanted to see, but still a top five. Can't sneeze at that. We'll now move to Lilac's ear. Hear her thoughts now. Lilac, it's Kevin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. Hello.
Obviously, again, very interesting race at the very least. Obviously, not what you're hoping for, but we got to talk about it anyway. You qualified well, second of the top four. The car seemed pretty planted, so thoughts on the track there and how that car felt out around the circuit?
It was all right. Yeah, put down a decent qualifying lap. And then just never really got into a rhythm in the race. I was trying to run the low line and it would get loose. I was trying to run the high line and it would get tight. I had practiced in the daytime and it was, loose enough that I thought I would have to run the top most of the race, and it just never worked out that way. Once it started getting dark, especially, it got tighter.
And then obviously, go ahead. Sorry, anything else you want to add there?
No. Go ahead with
All right,
your
yeah,
question.
I was gonna move on here. Second stage, we saw you stay out as well. I guess got to ask. Well, you were trying to save fuel is correct, along with Featherplace to try to make the end of stage two.
Yeah, I was just figuring I had to flip the track position somehow. And I thought, if I get to that stage two end without pitting, then maybe everyone else will come in behind again, and therefore I jumped to the front and basically worked. So then I don't know what had happened. Michelle had a slow pit stop or something because he did the same thing, but he came in front. He came into the pits in front and came out third, so I was leading for a bit. But yeah, that part of it, my strategy worked.
Moving on, obviously, final stage, you came out, you took the lead, and you tried to drive it. I just got to ask, again, final stage, you tried the undercut, you tried to pit. Is there a part of you wishing maybe you tried 2 tires, or did you really think 4 tires was going to be your only chance at taking this title?
Well, it felt like a really long way to go on 2 tires. Maybe I should have tried it just to see, because it did kind of almost work. I mean, Lily got ahead of me with that strat and stayed ahead of me, so yeah, maybe it would have worked. I don't know. I feel like I didn't have a very good pit entry either. Probably lost time there, so that wasn't ideal. But even then, it wouldn't have mattered. I just didn't have the pace to keep up with those two, and it was all I could do to finish fourth, I think. But I gave it all I had, and I hope I didn't race anyone too stupidly aggressively, even though I was pushing pretty hard there in stage 3.
Yeah. Moving, obviously, with the season coming close, obviously you'll no longer be a rookie. You had a great drive there, tons of top fives as well. Thoughts on the final season? Thoughts on this whole season as a whole, and in turn, any sponsor you want to thank, family, friends, just whatever. Floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, it was a good season. I had a lot of fun. Came close to some wins, just not quite able to get it done. But had a lot of nice, good finishes, and had a lot of fun. I want to thank my teammates. They were all great. They were cheering me on, and thanks to ABN for broadcasting and ARCS for putting this on, and Ryan and Tom Sears. Shout out to them. I guess they say they're retiring, but they'll be back for some races. They'll probably want to be watching it and be like, man, I gotta get back out there. But
the itch never leaves. I didn't know Sears was retiring, so hey, news as well breaking. But yeah,
at least from full-time points competition is what he said.
Fair enough. We'll have to hear probably from both of them as well before we
do part-time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks to her and Matt Kent and all the admins who do everything and race control and stay up late looking at all the incidents after we wrecked. So, luckily, hopefully there won't be too many to look at tonight.
Yeah,
and everyone could just go out and celebrate the end of the season, and we'll just go do the All-Star race in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
so
Gonna be a
It'll be
fun
fun.
watch. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun watch. Thanks talking to us with Alex here throughout the season. Wish you well throughout the offseason. Hope we see you on the track next year.
Thanks. Take care.
And that was our 4th place finisher, Alex here, who finishes 3rd in the championship. Move on next. We'll go to our 3rd place finisher. Again, we got a lot of interviews tonight. We're gonna try to get everyone in. It's the swan song of the season. Gonna hear from everyone as we can. Zach Millett up next. We'll hear his thoughts now. If I can actually end up getting him in the booth, because so many people are in that server here that it's a bit of a messy situation. Zach, Kevin in the booth, you got a copy?
Hey, Kevin, how you doing, man?
Yeah, we're going for a lot of people tonight, so you are next. Thoughts on? We'll start at the beginning as well. Thoughts on this track as well. You looked like you were planted throughout there as you were trying to be the ultimate spoiler here tonight. So thoughts on this track and how it was in the first 2 stages?
Oh, it's a great combo, these cars here, especially when it goes in at night. It's a lot of fun. You can really put the power down towards the night instead of the day. It's a lot more fun, I say, like in the day, if it gets really hot. It's really hard to save tires. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Moving further on, I got to ask, we saw a lot of drivers stay out in the second stage. Was that a thought that crossed your mind, or were you thinking that it was better to come in and just get the track position? What was your mind in that second stage coming in for? I believe you took fuel only, if I'm not mistaken, instead of trying to stretch it.
Yeah, I did just a little splash and go to make it. The couple practices I did, I actually made that stint from, what was it, 25 to 70 without even, I think I had 2 extra laps both times I did it. So I don't know if it, going into night, if I was just burning more fuel, getting back to the gas sooner. But yeah, I was really short, and that kind of took me by surprise. And I think if you weren't saving right from the very beginning of the stage, you weren't going to make it. So definitely big props to those guys who made it and planned ahead.
Moving further on, we saw in the final stage, you came in, you went for a slightly overish strategy a little bit, came in, and you were in that contention until late. So thoughts on that final stage and what went down?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be pretty close with everybody coming down. I knew Pelletier took 2, so I knew she was going to cycle out ahead. And I wanted to get down pit road before Hagen just by a little bit. He had some wicked good pace tonight. I don't know if I had anything long run for him at all. He was getting through the middle of the corner really, really well. But yeah, it was good. I wanted to cycle out ahead and maybe put some dirty air in the nose and maybe stay ahead and see if we can get another W. But yeah, it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be. But hey, you can't be mad at the season. You've had 7 wins on the year. You're definitely going to be a strong contender if you come back next season. So, again, I do want to bring this up as well. Obviously, with the season ending, if you do come back next year and if you do race, thoughts on – first of all, I'll ignore that question. But let's just say thoughts on the season as a whole and anyone you want to thank, family, friends, and sponsors, whatever. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I think it was a good season. It was kind of a late entry and just wanted to come in and see what it was like. And it's one of the few leagues that start at like the perfect time for me to be able to finish up the racing and go to work right after. So we're gonna play it by ear, see if we'll do next season. But yeah, it's a good group of guys and girls, and definitely fun to race. But yeah, big thanks to you, Kevin, and ABN and ARCS, and want to give a shout out to HBR TV, Track Bar Media, Track Bar Motorsports, Castle Products. And shoot me a follow over on Twitch at that S4 guy.
It's been great talking. We've talked to you at least 7 times, if not more, this season. It's been great talking to you. Hopefully you come back next season. But if not, you enjoy the rest of the year and you take care. You take care.
You too, brother.
And that was Zach Millett, our 3rd place finisher. Moving up the ladder, we'll go with the driver that finished in 2nd and 2nd in the championship. We have from Peltier Sharp now. Alyssa, this is Kevin the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
I know it is heartbreaking. You can hear it in your voice. We saw it in the track, but we do got to ask a few questions here. We saw in the first and the second stage you were trying to. What did the track car feel like in those first 2 stages there, and how the thing felt planted? Like, did it feel good out there? What was the car feeling like?
For the most part, it was okay. Just a couple times loose off, but only on fucking sight, only on corners, and even then, I was just trying to feel out the track because all it was to set up for the final stage. I mean, it didn't feel too bad.
Yeah. Moving on, I know we're gonna have to touch a little bit here, but we got to talk about that final stage. You went for the undercut. You took the 2 tires, which I was talking to Booth. I felt like someone was gonna do it, and you were the driver that did it. And you looked, at least at the moment, poised, but the tires started to fall off. So we know you tried 2 tires at least twice this year. We figured you were going to try it again, but what was the plan in that strategy to go for 2 tires there?
I just knew I had to do it. I just knew it was the one shot I had. That Hagen and Millet fight. Darby was so wrecked, and I just before I had it, and just
yeah, it was just
tire heat.
Just
I overheated it one time and just yeah, it yeah, it went.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. I wanted to let you finish your sentence there. But yeah, it's pure pain. I'll move on here. Obviously we know what happened on the track there, but I do want to hear your thoughts as well. Being so long time the season, thoughts on the season as a whole and how you did. Obviously you did proud. You won 2 races. Thoughts on the season as a whole?
It was an okay season, I know. A couple of times, mainly. Dover, wasn't best for my temper and got frustrated a lot, but definitely think I worked on it better. Just yeah, built on Phoenix and tried to keep with it the rest of the season, and so close.
So close. Yeah, so close indeed. But keep your chin up. It was a great year. If there's anyone to thank, family, friends, sponsors, if you want anything else, well, go for it. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Just thanks, Emma, for trusting me with the car this season. I tried, and yeah, just not enough.
Just rest up, Alyssa. Be proud of the season you had. Put some metaphorical hair on the chest. Be back next year, hopefully. And you put on just a great performance. So you take care. Have a great rest of the year, I should say. And that was Alyssa. That was Alyssa, our second place finisher. And we got one more driver to go through. And then afterwards, we'll hear from the thoughts of Pinnell and Sears if they're still in the waiting room. We'll hear from our champion now, John Hagan. John, this is Kevin the A-Band Booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you, Kevin?
Good. Obviously, you're probably a happy boy right now with how everything's gone on. But we first got to talk about the race as a whole. First 2 stages, that thing looked like it was on rails. Take us through how that thing felt.
It was definitely loose. It was a little slippery on the long run after lap 20, and I was just holding on to it. So that's how the first 2 stages really went, and just maintain track position.
Moving onward, we saw you just drive, and then we saw you took that strategy coming in for fuel only there to top off. Were you a little bit worried about coming in and maybe losing track position at the end of stage 2 and not being up there for stage 3?
No, I saw the tire fall off that the other competitors were having, and I was like, okay, if I can save my set right here, it'll be all right, and I'll just have another set to use at the end of the race, so I wasn't too worried about that. So that's why I took that sacrifice, and I ended up coming out 7th at the end of all of that.
Moving further on, we saw pit stops happen, the final stops. You got back to the lead. You were driving. I got to ask, did 2 tires even remotely enter into your thought? Was it going to be 4 tires to the finish? What was your mindset coming into that final pit stop?
It was just looking at gaps to competitors in the final 4 that dictated what I was going to take. I saw it was over like 3 seconds to the next championship 4 driver, and that would only put me, 1, maybe a second and a half behind whoever took 2 behind me. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm cool with 4 tires here because it'll be a bit faster than the 2 will, especially over the course of the rest of the run. So if they were closer, yeah, I was going to take 2 all the way, but instead I took 4.
Moving on, we saw as well that late contact with Millet. Were you a bit worried about damaging the car in that contact, or did the thing feel fine? So I got to ask about that Millet contact you had.
It was just I had to get around to him so I could go attack the 18, and I got a touch too close, I guess, and it jacked him sideways in a weird bump physics type of way. And I apologized immediately. He was able to keep it straight, but I did get a little bit of right front damage, but it was all right. So, I mean, from there, just chased the 18 back down.
Yeah. And then moving further on, obviously, kind of proceeding to my next question. With those 10 laps to go, you were driving. I guess when you battling sharp, your thoughts on that, and then when you finally got clear and you seen that you were pulling, take us through your thoughts in the cockpit as the laps kicked down to eventually you saw the white flag.
My thought was as soon as I got there, run where she isn't. That's basically what I did. So that allowed me to get side by side, and we got a little squirrely getting into one lap, and that was probably one of my better saves of the year, because if I don't save that, I don't know if I win the championship. So, I mean, once I got there, it was just, all right, you got the better tires, you'll eventually clear. So it wasn't antsy, and I knew they were going to fight for everything they got, sticking on my outside, inside, wherever they were, and I wasn't. So, yeah, it was a whole bunch of fun, and we got it done.
Yeah, you came in, you made the mission statement, you made it work, and now gotta ask, 9 wins now on the year. You've now etched your name in the L's of A squared history, joining the likes of Wanzing, Braille, and Reynolds. So overall, thoughts on this year, thoughts on winning this championship. What's making you feel so good right now? And in turn, thoughts on the year, some thoughts on winning this championship.
Year was great. We all had our moments of slip ups, and I even had one tonight. But overall, it was awesome. I'm kicking myself for not breaking that record, only tying it, even though it was only we did do 10 less races. I wanted to break it. That was just something personal for me.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I can't be too bad at 9 wins. And yeah, it was awesome. I'll definitely be back next year, hopefully, to defend this title.
Yeah, you're looking to do what only Seth Wanzing has done and go back to back as a champion. Obviously, you know the drill by now. You've been here for many races. If there's anyone you want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, any final thoughts, go for it. The floor is yours.
Shout out my beautiful girlfriend and her best friend. They're awesome. I actually went to Texas, so I had to drag my rig to their house, and they let me set up in their place to run this race. Shout out Jeremy Brayout and All Beatron Racing for drafting me and giving me this shot. Shout out Jacob Shango and John Smeal. Those guys paint up my cars. Shout out you, Kevin, and everybody at ABN for putting on these broadcasts week in, week out. A lot of times it's thankless, so thank you. And we'll go get them next year.
All right, and I guess the last question as well. John Hagan, you are the 2024 A Squared champion. What are you going to do now?
I'm going to go attack the College Series. Hopefully I could put myself in a position to do really well in that. For eNASCAR is a unprecedented opportunity, and hopefully I'll do my best to make everybody that I race with proud, and everybody here at ARCS and ABN and HTL and wherever else I race with. Hopefully they'll watch, and hopefully they'll say, "Hey, that guy was with us. He talks to us." So hopefully I make all of y'all proud when I go race with it this coming fall and winter, and I guess just keep getting better.
All right. It's been great talking to you, John, throughout all these weekends. You have a good rest of your year, and you celebrate this championship and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, Kevin.
And that was John Hagan, our race winner and champion of 2024. Lastly, we're going to bring in, as a special treat here, we're going to both bring in the 2 drivers that have signified they're retiring here to hear some closing thoughts on the season as a whole. So we're going to bring in Pinnell and Sears and hear their thoughts. Ryan, Tom, it's Kevin the ABN booth. Yep, drag me in here real fast. I just want to know, since you two are both calling it, or at least from full-time competitions, your thoughts on your time in A Squared and your thoughts on the year as well. Love to hear both your thoughts on that.
You go first, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it was a great season. My retirement's a little bit different than Lurkin's, Tom's, as everyone knows him. But yeah, I'm retiring pretty much full-time next year, so you won't see me on track very much. So yeah, I mean, I've competed full-time in A Squared since we started back on Xbox, so definitely was, it wasn't an easy decision to make, but me and Tom were talking about it before we came in here. We're getting older, I can't keep doing this, 5-6 nights a week. It just doesn't make sense. I do love doing it. I love being a part of it. But it does take a toll, especially when you do it for 26, 27 weeks, in a row. And then once these series are over, then somebody else starts a new series in ARC. So it's like, there's no break. So yeah, it just got to the point where I honestly just wasn't really having fun anymore on the track, and that's never a good thing. So, I've been kind of getting more into broadcasting now, helping, ABN on Tuesdays, and I'll be helping them on Fridays with the ARX series coming up here soon. So gonna kind of just transition. I mean, I'm gonna do like all washed up race car drivers do and go in the booth, because not a lot of speed in the 12 car out on track. So why not go to the booth, do something I enjoy. I love watching the races and calling the races. So I'm going to focus on that in 2025, and you'll see me out there every once in a while. I'll still make some appearances, probably super speedways and, a couple tracks here and there that I enjoy running. But yeah, I'm excited for the season. I hate it for Lily. She almost had that thing. I know she was very emotional, which, understandable. I mean, she almost upset, I mean, I don't think anybody really, I mean, I know that she had speed, but everybody was kind of looking at Hagan as the favorite in Fetter Place. And even my driver Lilac did a really good job, was up there leading for a while. So couldn't ask for a better finish. We went, other than a couple little incidents, we had a really great race, and four of the top five was the championship four. So obviously they deserved to be in there, and just a great season overall. Couldn't ask for anything better. Next year I think will be just as fun, maybe even better, now that I might be able to own a team and still be able to broadcast and maybe be on the track here and there. So I'm excited for next year. But yeah, it's definitely sad. Took my Polish lap, just kind of closing out the career I've had. I mean, I know I'm at 600 starts in ARCS, probably closer to 650 at this point, but yeah, just a really great career, and wouldn't change anything about it. It was a great ride, but ready for 2025 and some new adventures.
Great words there, Ryan, from Mr. ARCS, and definitely putting a good bow on your things. And Tom, as well, I brought you in as well. You want to have some thoughts as well on your future as well and everything?
Yeah, I just really love ARCS. I'm only retired from A squared full time. I'm still gonna be racing other series full time. I'll show up, like Ryan said, I'll probably show up in a lot of same races as Ryan for a couple of one-offs. But I just love this league for the people. We're so lucky. I feel so lucky because I live in Massachusetts and we just don't have as many. Racing is just not as loved around here. We got, the Patriots and the Red Sox and the Celtics and the Bruins, and that's all anyone up here really gives a damn about. So it's just amazing to be one of the leaders with Ryan in this community and make so many friends. So many friends. I love making friends here that love racing. And then once a year we all get to meet up and not only it's we race with each other, but then to meet these people in the community and hang out with them and go to a race together for real. It's just so special, and A squared has been a huge part of that. I've been here with Ryan racing A squared the whole time. There's no one that I've raced more in ARCS than Ryan. He's the person I've raced more than anyone because we're number 1 and 2 in ARCS starts all time. So I don't have as many starts as Ryan. He's got a few more than me. I think I'm right about 500. He's around 650. But we have raced each other quite a bit. So it's, it's kind of fitting that we're going to be both getting out of the full-time points here in A squared at the same time. Mine was a little bit more recent choice. Just having my first kid, having a baby girl.
Wow.
And yeah, thank you. And I just got to make sure I'm being a good man, being a good father, and making sure that I don't have so many nights dedicated to sim racing as much as I'd like to. I have to be responsible and be there for my wife and my daughter. So it's a choice that has been made, and that's where we're at. But I'll still be here, hopefully on a team kind of like Ryan. I'll definitely be sponsoring more races next year. I really, just because me and Ryan won't be racing in A squared doesn't mean that we're just going to not care. I want to make sure our driver count is healthy. We have talent coming in, like the Hagans and the Millets of the world. Really good drivers, and keep putting up cash pots to entice people to race the whole season. I know we're gonna have there's even a money wheel for people that made every race. So just doing what we can, keep this thing going. Just because we're not gonna be competing full time for points in the championship doesn't mean that we're not gonna make sure we take care of and curate this league. So I just want to thank you for being here this year and broadcasting. It really means a lot. I know you've broadcasted a lot of our races, and you don't have to, but you do, and I very much appreciate that. It's been an honor. A squared has been great. Won a few races here, not as many since we got on iRacing because I'm washed, but it's been a cool ride to see all the champions, Seth, and then Jeremy and Tommy, and now Hagen. Unfortunately, Hagen won't be at the race with us, so we can make him get really drunk, but that's fine. But yeah, thanks a lot. Good job, Ryan. Good job, Kevin.
Again, thank you as well. It's been fun calling this season. It's been fun enjoying this season as well, calling from start to finish. And hey, it's been fun to watch it through in and out. It's been great talking as well. Obviously, A Squared, ARCS as a whole is a great community, fighting for everyone, and it's been a fun join as well. I mean, hey, even on my own side, on the college football side, it's definitely a fun place to be. So thank you to both of you as well for making ARCS inviting, allowing people in, making it a good home and a great community. And you two enjoy your celebration you're going to have in the off week next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm gonna go have a beer. Actually, we're gonna have a bunch of beers.
We're gonna
next week in Atlanta. Yeah,
we're gonna have a lot of beers, bud.
All right. Well, you two take on care. You guys both drink responsibly. Hopefully, again, we'll see you maybe in a one-off start here and there, but definitely, hopefully, you keep the teams because Tom, you got a championship to defend in the constructors, and Ryan, you gotta get some silverware for Presidential Racing. So overall, both of you enjoy the off season, have some fun. Hope we see you pop up once or twice. Obviously, Ryan as well. You keep doing your broadcasting thing. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, hopefully I can join you next year on Sundays. We'll see what we gotta get some contract talks going.
Yep.
But hey, maybe we can be up there with you on Sundays.
Hey,
I'd love
I'm always inviting to bring both of you in. It would be quite fun.
Yeah, I unfortunately say and yeah a lot, so we'd have to do a little work on Tom Sears here, but.
Hey, consider the fact that where I started from where I am now, it's a developmental process, but it's easy. Like once you get it down, trust me. It's not...
You make it look easy, buddy. So thanks a lot for all your work here too.
Yeah, well, thank you as well. It's great. I've heard a lot of thanks throughout the year, but it's always great to hear a few more added on the total. So again, you two take care. Have a good rest of your year.
You too.
Thank you.
And that was Ryan Pennell and Tom Sears, both retiring, in Ryan's case, full-time from ARCS, and Tom retiring full-time from A Squared, but definitely two stalwarts that will not be forgotten. Even though they're not passing, but you know what I mean is that in that sentence. But let me give my closing thoughts as well. Now that we've gotten to the end, everyone's gone home, let's turn off the lights, and let me give my closing thoughts as well before we get on out of here and call it a day. Overall, it's been a fun season to watch, highs, lows, throughout the point. It's been overall a great experience. I've enjoyed it. All these Sundays coming in. I think there's a few complaints I could have, like doing a Talladega on WrestleMania weekend. If we do come back, I'm definitely going to lobby to have not that happen. Other than that, though, it's been fun seeing all the faces, all the winners, the joys, the excitement, everything out. It's been fun. Like to come back next year if the opportunity comes on. Obviously, it's up to contract talks and everything else. We'll see. Can't promise anything. But if things work out, I would like to come back. But we'll have to see how things work out throughout. But regardless, it's been a fun season here in A Squared. It was also a fun season last year. I hope everyone that's still tuning in here, who's still watching, who's still enjoying this, thank you for watching throughout all these years, all these seasons, all the years too. Everything, just on ABN in general. Let's just say that. But A Squared, ARCS, all the ARCS broadcasts, everything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making it so we can come in here week in and week out and broadcast something for people to watch that may find at least some enjoyment in. On behalf of myself, obviously Carmen, obviously the chairwoman of ABN, she was here for the first few races and obviously a few others, but overall, it's been me in the show. But overall, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Congrats to John Hagan for winning the championship. Congrats for Lion Power for winning the Constructors. Congrats to everyone that took part in this season and raced throughout the whole year, giving it and making the field count be as healthy as it is. And thank you for everyone watching for joining us as well. My name is Kevin Young. It's been an honor and a privilege throughout this season. And thank you for all tuning in. And for the final time in 2024 for A Squared, as we turn off the lights, thank you for joining and have a good rest of your evening.